This podcast is brought to you by the Podtower, hosted by the Watchtower database. Visit youtube.com/thepodtower for informative, hilarious DC animation-themed podcasts and live streams every week. And check out the Watchtower database for DCAU video essays, timelines, fan theories, and more. And please, enjoy the show. Welcome to episode 86 of Jump on the Bat-Wagon. I'm James from the Watchtower Database YouTube channel, and I'm here to show my good buddy Brian the entire DC animated universe from start to finish for the very first time and embarrass him in every situation possible. He didn't graduate high school himself, so I get to play. Brian didn't even graduate elementary school. Anyway, in the controversial airdate order, so that he may view these shows the way human beings, he graduated in the controversial airdate order. So he may view these shows the way human beings experienced them in the far gone days of the 1900s. We recommend you watch today's DCAU episode before listening to this podcast to get the full experience out of our discussion. I can't make you do that, but I can make Brian do whatever the hell I want. At the time of this recording, you fucked me up at the time of this recording.
12:07 p.m.
Batman the Animated Series is streaming on Max,
my dog,
and available on DVD and Blu-ray. Today we are watching the final episode of Batman the Animated Series.
We hardly knew ye.
Oh, the key changed. That was weird. This is a strange arrangement of this. I'm stopping this now. It's called The Lion and the Unicorn is the name of this episode.
The key change threw you off from that?
Well, so I was like, oh, this is the only pomp and circumstance YouTube upload that doesn't have ads on it, so it'll probably not throw off the copyright shit. And then I read the description right before starting this, and it's someone edited a version themselves because they wanted to play it for an actual high school graduation and it wasn't long enough. So it's like this looping thing that someone edited. So I shouldn't have trusted that it wasn't that it was going to be good. Sorry, whoever made that, if you're listening, but you know.
I just love the idea of like maybe you didn't think through enough to like check and you're just like playing that and giving your little feedback and hear the like free Hollywood CD music.
Yeah. Premiumbeat.com. Yeah.
It wouldn't be so bad if they had those things come on beat. Yeah. You know, because it'd just be like a techno remix or whatever. But premiumbeat.com.
No,
that just sounds like a car insurance commercial.
Yeah. Go to the general. Yeah. All right. So this is, we're on the last Batman the Animated Series episode.
I can't believe it.
I know. It's been a 2-year-long journey of something for Brian.
I need my friends. I need help.
I need friends.
It's back. It has been 2 years of this.
It sure has. I think we'll probably do
long.
Just about as long as a graduation ceremony feels. Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I've never graduated anything, apparently.
Nope, never, ever. I think we'll probably do like a closing thoughts kind of thing at the end of this, of the show itself. But for now, I'll do my normal opening spiel so we can pretend like this is just your average podcast episode, you know? Okay. Batman the Animated Series, The Lion and the Unicorn. Friday, September 15th, 1995, 4 p.m., Fox Adults. I realized, where were you when they built the Lion and the Unicorn?
No.
I realized I copy pasted like the little like I don't know, blurb that I say the same time, and then I change the stuff. That's how I've been doing this entire time. I copy paste it, I change the stuff.
Yep.
Somehow since these last 5 episodes of the show were all back to back in the same week, I was just changing the dates, but I forgot to change the day half the time. So I realized, the last several podcast episodes have gone Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Not what actually happened, but you know, we did skip one day again. For our last week of BTAS. Okay. This is the 77th produced episode between Baby Doll and Showdown. The actual final produced episode was Batgirl Returns, which we watched already a while ago.
And they produced it so good.
They produced it as good as possibly. I've said
the production team did a great job on producing the episode.
Yesterday, I think I said some other word that started with
yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. Jersiker. But yeah, I said a word yesterday that started with pro, and I realized I had said it in a purr way, and I was just mad at myself. I'm going to have to over pronounce. See, I say pronounce. I don't say pronounce. This was written by 3 writers. Diane Duane, this is their only DCAU writing credit. Peter Morwood, for some reason erroneously credited as Philip Morwood. I don't know why it was P something. I don't remember.
His name started with a P. Just put something in there.
Whatever's P. P.P. Morwood. This was also his only DCAU writing credit. And Steve Perry, who of course is the lead singer of Journey, but he also wrote Night of the Ninja, Terror in the Sky, The Mechanic, Day of the Samurai, and the teleplay on Mudslide and Time Out of Joint. This was directed by Boyd Kirkland, who was the director on 20 previous episodes, but notably good ones like The Forgotten, Perchance to Dream, Beware the Grey Ghost, I Am the Night, Sideshow, and Second Chance. Mm-hmm. And then we have music by Brian Langsbard, who his only previous episode was Lockup. And I do remember Lockup having some pretty decent music, so I'm interested in that. And then animation by Dong Yang, our good old friends.
What a way to send out this series.
It couldn't have been Sunrise. I wish it was Sunrise. I could play this song one more time, but I don't think I'll ever play it again. I gotta figure out like some, recurring Superman animation studio with like an anime with a recognizable theme song that I can play. I have to replicate. I gotta replicate the magic somehow. We can't lose the magic.
I think you can just play the start of the Yoppie Mail theme.
Just yeah.
Well, no, I mean Timmy on a roller coaster.
I'll just do that every time. We do have a special guest today, but we'll bring him in after we watch the episode. So for you, it'll be like, a few seconds from now or whatever, listener. It's Alex Robson of the Batman the Animated Series podcast, one of the 2 hosts of that. Woo! Which, if you haven't listened before, I'm sure we'll re-explain it when he's here, but we discovered via various TikTok and Instagram clips, much like we were uploading, have funny clips from their podcast, and it's good stuff.
Yeah, they're hilarious. You should track them down. What's the name of their channel? Page, whatever.
Batman TAS Pod on Instagram is their Instagram. Okay?
There it is.
Yeah.
Go give them a follow.
And we should watch the episode now for the last time.
We should watch the episode.
Ever. And then we'll die.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
I think if this is my last thing I was doing, I probably wouldn't, choose to watch a Batman episode, but maybe.
Wow.
Maybe it's as good a thing as any. I don't know.
It says a lot about what you think of the show.
I feel like walking my dogs to the top of a mountain would be a pretty epic way to go, but
And then there's a TV up there with Batman on it. Yeah.
Oh my God, best of both worlds.
I'm playing the Lion and the Unicorn. I knew you were on this episode, said God.
Wow.
And then he smote you atop the mountain.
Well, on that note, let's go watch an episode.
Let's do it.
Still no word from Castle Blackwan. Our post there has never missed a check-in.
Here's more bad news. Agent Frederick has been listed missing.
I don't like this. Frederick was part of the original security team at Blackwan. Him and that fellow from Clerical.
Pennyworth. Alfred Pennyworth. Our apologies for intruding. You were saying something about a castle?
How did you get in here?
We don't have time for protocol. Pennyworth is also missing. We have reason to think he and Frederick might be in considerable danger. What was the name of that castle?
And why should we give you that information?
Because I can give you Red Claw.
Blairquan. Castle Blairquan on the west Scottish coast. It was the base for Project Excalibur.
Black-One is the last of our land-based missile silos. Do you think that's what Red Claw is after?
Apparently so.
So is it 3, 2, 1 poopy buttholes?
Yes, 3, 2, 1. Poopy
Okay.
buttholes.
Okay, we can do that. Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Poopy buttholes.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. I'm so glad that that's now in our lore, our podcast lore.
Oh my god.
We are
came up with it. We Americans came up with it first, actually. I don't know what you're doing.
Oh, no.
So you're.
But what are Americans if not British people with a fondness for sailing?
What are Americans if not British with poopy buttholes? How about that? Does that work? We don't wipe. We don't
that's
clean
true.
ourselves.
I mean, this is the most I've ever said poopy buttholes in one sitting, so you've already beat my record.
Same.
It might be a record for me, but I'll have to check. I'll have to check. Yeah.
That's
To be
true.
fair, you are
do
a dad.
Yeah, it does say that on your shirt.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I have to clean them much more often than you two, probably. Yeah.
Agree to disagree.
Anyway, we did a little intro for you up top, but you're here now. You know yourself better than we, so maybe you could tell us like who the hell you are and why you're here and stuff like that.
Oh shit! On the spot. English people don't like being put on the spot.
Tell me, who are
They
you?
avoid it.
How did
What
you
are you
get
doing
here? How?
Where are the other drugs going?
Oh my god, I get Batman references.
Hey.
Well, only
got
because
it.
of the Pete Holmes sketch, probably.
No, I mean I saw
Where
that
were
one.
the
That
other
was-
drugs going?
That's amazing. Okay,
We haven't
so
made any progress on who you
What
are.
what an intro, yeah. All right, so I'm Alex. I do a podcast much in the vein of this one, where I talk about Batman the animated series with a companion. This one happens to be
Yes.
my brother. He is a Marvel and DC artist and writer, so he's way cooler than me
Yeah.
when it comes to all of that stuff.
And us. Yeah.
And us as a collective. And we love these shows as kids. We did Spider-Man the animated series before Batman, so we reviewed
Oh, nice. Okay.
most of that show, and there's quite a few actors that cross over from that into Batman as well, like Greg Berger.
Greg got burger. Yeah. We had Brian sitting there wishing that we were watching Spider-Man instead at this point, I think. But
I know. I'm gonna have to go listen to your Spider-Man podcast because
Yeah.
that was my childhood. I never watched DC. I was always not intentionally. It was just
Just
Marvel
ended up
was
that way.
on
Yeah.
the channels I was watching at the time I was watching TV. So it
Hey
was
man,
nice
I
I
to
was
watch Spider-Man.
probably
Batman.
I was probably the only kid in the 90s that did not watch X-Men the animated series.
I never
watch
watched
it.
X-Men. I never watched X-Men.
Hey, I just like
Two of us.
yeah, I like a one hero show. You know what I mean? Too many to follow.
Men, plural. I can't do this.
Yeah, so we did Spider-Man, and now we're doing Batman. So it's called Batman the Animated Series Podcast. It's so creative. Mainly,
I was
going
gonna say I love that name so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it really does. We kind of screwed ourselves over by not like every time that I post a new episode, it's jump on the Bat-Wagon episode this number. Here's the title of the episode we watched, and then in parentheses, or here's the funny, stupid little silly title that we came up with. And then also sometimes, including this time, hopefully, if there's enough characters in the title, feat guest name. And that is so fucking long that there's no room for the actual, Batman the Animated Series, anything like that. So the SEO is just going like, I don't know what this is. Goodbye. Constantly. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter anymore. We're
So
here.
I don't have that problem. So there we go.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder if there's any Batman the Animated Series podcast out there. Oh, perfect. This one is literally called that. Yeah.
Ta-da.
So
yes.
you do a podcast with your brother, and I do a podcast with my brother Broderick here.
Oh, very
You see?
good. Very good.
Clever, Jamie.
Thank
Clever.
you. Thank
Indeed.
you.
And I came across you guys because when I was
Yeah.
posting one of my TikToks, someone went, Are these the guys? Could someone link the video below where they talk about like Batman like throwing a chair through a window?
The most popular clip we've posted from this for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's got like 1 million views on TikTok, motherfucker. Doesn't it?
I don't know why
crazy.
they're doing these weird British accents this time. But could they please do the chair one again? Do the chair one. That was funny. You know what? We stumbled on your guys' clips too, and we're like, oh, this has very similar energy. Like they're noticing very similarly stupid things about the episode and laughing at. Like I enjoy every time. Yeah, every time a clip of your guys comes up, I'm like, oh damn, I gotta watch this. And I'm also pretty jealous of some of the guests that you guys have been getting on lately. Like I know that just like with ours, like we didn't start thinking we would have guests necessarily. We were just, it's the two of us. But so far our guests have been assholes like Dylan Pollock, and we had Dan Reba, but when you guys have like, you just had Alan Burnett, you have had Kevin Altieri, you had Frank Parr recently and stuff like that, where it's just like, oh shit, like what are we doing?
Well, dude, you've been doing this for a long time, man. You've had those people in the past as well.
It's true, yeah.
So,
we get, well, not Brian doesn't get to be part of that, but
no, that's true.
I'm just a loser.
Yeah.
We're
I'm some guy hanging out in a shed.
Yeah, I guess we have to decide whether, because this is such a momentous, it's the finale of the show. Brian, do you want to say the synopsis, or would you like Alex to say the synopsis?
No, I think we have to stick with tradition.
Okay, so the guest, yeah?
Yeah.
But it's the last of the Batman episodes. We could do it together. We could duet.
We could do it together. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, so do you
swap
wanna...
off every sentence.
Yeah, let's try. Let's see what happens. All right, Brian.
Okay. Deal. All right. So let's see. The episode starts off and
wait.
Synyop, synyop. If you're wondering, synyop, synyop. What you just watched, synyop, synyop. Take a listen to the synopsis. The short summary, which is sometimes kind of long.
Go!
Sorry, Cooney.
They're sitting there going, oh, they didn't play my song.
Yeah, so we start off the episode and Robin is just pulling out all his gymnastic tricks and having like grand illusions in his head of the crowd he's performing for. And Batman is getting dressed up for something, and Alfred is like primping him, making him look all proper. And then fast forward a minute or so, and Alfred gets a call from an old friend with some kind of an intriguing message from an old friend. How about that?
All right. So that old friend asked that he come to London. Good old foggy, wet, moist, damp London. That is from 1855 by the looks of it.
Yeah.
What is that about? With like candlelit lanterns and guys using phrases that no one uses here, like "Come on, Olaf" or "Stone the crows." Like, come on.
Wait, Alex. I'm getting the impression that you've never actually been to London.
I get the impression you may not live in this country, actually.
What is
you don't know what the
Londinium?
hell you're talking about.
No, I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, and then obviously these two men who are speaking the Queen's English come up to Alfred and try to accost him. How dare they? And Alfred runs away and then calls Bruce, who, let's be honest, guys, Bruce was definitely having a wank bore Alfred called in bed. 100%.
Alfred, you interrupted.
He
I am concerned about your well-being, but couldn't you have called 5 minutes from now?
I thought maybe that he was like, Alfred's not here, Robin's out, like, it's time for me. Like, maybe he like had like
never get time for this. Yeah,
yeah, he had like phone sex lined up. That's why when he answered the phone, he's like, hello? Like, is that Candy?
Andrea?
And he's like, Alfred? Why do you sound like Alfred? Oh, I
didn't order old British man.
All right, I close my eyes. I can get through it. So,
Alfred's got a side hustle we all didn't know about.
What are you wearing, sir?
So the phone call is a little perplexing. Alfred is being very calm despite the fact that there's two large gentlemen breaking into his room about to like apprehend him. And Bruce says, I definitely wrote down everything you said. I'm going to like jump in the Bat-Wing with Robin and we're going to go fly to foggy, rainy, damp, moist London. And
how did the Batjet make it there as well? That's just crazy. Anyway, we're going to get through this synopsis.
Where did they park it?
Where did they park? Thank you. So then they
Castle.
Yes, everyone in England has a castle, by the way.
Yeah.
They look for clues in their trench coats because they're all called detectives. And then the same guys who look like those two goons were like the two goons from 101 Dalmatians, by the way.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah,
For real.
We've made comments about, be it like I think it was Cat Scratch Fever. Dr. Milo had a couple of like cartoonish British looking goons that were like exactly like these guys, where they're just like, oh blimey, I've got a big nose. Like that's their entire personality.
I'm gonna have a cuppa and eat some beans.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a fucking trash can on me head, and then they just go around, and we're like, oh, it's Cruella de Vil's goons, but these guys are like literally Cruella de Vil goons, or they're also the Home Alone guys.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, Red Claw is like, bring me a new coat. I want Dalmatian spots.
Yeah, basically.
Batman meets the Kingsman, and they tell Batman where to find Red Claw. They go to the castle. Alfred is wasted and just blurting out gibberish, absolutely off his tits. And then they hit the button to blow up London, and Batwing to the rescue. But Red Claw's in the Batwing. How'd she get in there?
Oh my god!
Did he not?
How did she get in there?
For real?
Where did he put that?
No automatic locks on the Batwing. And then right before he hits the button, she jumps him, takes off his mask. Then he hits the ejector seat, and Tomorrow Never Dies her. And then he fires the rocket and saves the day. And
amen.
Yep, that's it.
And then Alfred and his not cousin go to the airport. The end.
Yeah.
Freddy, not Freddy. Yeah, beautiful.
Right. Yeah. Well, whenever he answered the phone at the start and he was like, "Oh, it's my cousin Frederick." Whenever he said that, I immediately started Googling, like, didn't Alfred have a like brother or a cousin or something in the George Clooney Batman and Robin movie, and I that they just like briefly mention, and then while I was Googling that, Batman's like, cousin doesn't necessarily mean it could sometimes mean this thing. I'm like, well, fuck it, I'm not even gonna finish looking this up. It doesn't matter.
all British people refer to their workmates as cousins.
Yeah. Now, Alfred said "blimey chap" as he was leaving. What do you suppose that means? Yeah. I like how Robin spends the entire episode going, Alfred had a life? How the fuck? I thought he just cleaned the shit stains on my underwear. How could he possibly do anything else? Like, he says it so many times, and I'm just like, okay, dude, like, you never clearly you don't care about this man because you've never bothered to learn anything about him. What, Alfred just does the dishes like a fucking asshole.
His food is as bland as his personality.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen him beating a rug, but I didn't know he could beat up goons.
I don't understand what. Yeah, it was very annoying. Like, come on, dude, you can do this. It's okay.
I guess he doesn't have any better dialogue other than like this its inability to grasp that, you know, Alfred had a previous life.
Yeah.
And it's just like, cut to Robin, just say the same thing again.
Robin must be in this episode by network demand, so we're just gonna make him a dumbass the whole time.
I guess we're supposed to be Robin in that scenario. Like, Alfred
I was thinking that too. Yeah.
But like, even as kids, we're not going to be like, "Wow, Alfred was a secret agent." Like, no.
Yeah, multiple times throughout the episode, going like, "I don't believe it. Tell me again."
I mean, I was surprised when he did that like umbrella, and of course it's an umbrella. Like,
of course it is.
Yeah.
It's foggy London town. You need an umbrella.
I learned this from the penguins, sir. Ha!
I'll melt your ankles with my
How different
gas.
this episode could have been if he had the penguin's umbrella. He sweeps the foot and it turns into a shotgun and he blasts him or whatever.
And I was blasting, sir. Yeah. Basically, Alex, I want to get your overall thoughts on. You already basically told us this is not a proper depiction of 1996-7-ish England. It's just 1800s. Everybody's dressed that way. All the technology looks that way. And it's similar to whenever they traveled to wherever Ra's al Ghul, Egypt-y place, where we're like, why is this Aladdin? It's still the 90s. Come on. Yeah. So your thoughts on the recreation of your neighborhood.
Yeah, because you've been here quite a lot, right? In the past?
Yeah.
He knows the Brian lore.
I stayed with my buddy outside of Herne Hill for a couple of weeks as well.
Oh, shit.
So
okay. I know where Herne Hill's. Yeah. Well, the reason I know is because, as I was saying, I got that comment on TikTok and then I was like, oh, there's a Batman podcast. I'll check that out. Because I saw that clip and I was like, that was funny. And then obviously, just like all new listeners, that's how you find the podcast, right? And then I was like a secret listener of yours. And felt so seen once because I was literally cutting my grass listening to you two, and then you're like, "Who binges us? What the fuck is wrong with you?" And I was like, "I've been doing that for like a week."
Secret listener.
I'm just always amazed because I feel like. I have fun here, and Jamie and I this is our whole life before the podcast. Is just when we were working together, it was this. We just kind of bullshit all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't feel like people want to see that. I don't think people want to live that, especially
Weird,
not in a
it?
binge sense. But yeah, it's strange as hell.
Same with me.
We just get one or two new people every few days. It's just a slow climb, but the people that are here are lifelong. They'll be here till the end.
I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's how I found you, and I get the same thing on my podcast. My brother's used to having more attention for the books he does, and so he's like, I'm used to this bullshit, dude, and I'm like, someone just wrote on our YouTube, look. He's like,
Yeah. There's words, and I didn't write them.
Yeah, exactly. Someone said I'm the reason the internet is good. Oh.
Well, I mean, I've just enjoyed taking Brian through this because we're talking as if this is the end of the podcast. This is just the end of the first show. It's been 2 years of watching Batman the Animated Series, and Brian is a completely different person now. I've changed him to the core, and I don't know what else to do now. He's going to watch a new show and change his personality again in 52 episodes. But
man, I can't wait.
I'm excited to hear you get to Superman. But you were asked what I thought of London. It's nothing like the London that's outside my window right now. I imagine that it didn't look like that for many years before I came around. It's horse and carriage London, isn't it? It's proper Sherlock Holmes London.
Well, to be fair, they recently moved into the realm of having automobiles. They have one double-decker bus.
Yes. With nobody on it. Nobody has figured out what it is.
Yeah,
what is this for? Oh, well. And they go
There's a giant metal monster invading our streets. Don't go near it.
It's a giant red horse, it is. It's a bloody red horse.
I think one of my favorite discrepancies in it was the whole, Red Claw saying that she's gonna launch the missile at Trafalgar Square. And then, if it lands, God save the Queen. We see the bomb later in the episode blow up next to Big Ben in the tower that it sits within. And it's a relatively small
Puff
explosion. And my thought is that the palace it's nowhere near Trafalgar Square if the explosion is only that big. She would have had to live in the middle of Square if that explosion was going to take out the Queen.
What was that noise, Philip? What was the noise that was heard?
The rats again. It's just Big Ben went off like it does every day.
It's
I
just
feel
the 11 p.m. Big Ben explosion.
We're doing these.
Go back to sleep, Mom.
I'm glad that Alex is participating in the stereotypical
it's allowed.
depictions.
It's allowed.
Yeah. Well, so the fog itself, if we're gonna start talking like technicalness of the episode, is like every time that it was on screen, the quality of the animation, like of the like remastering or whatever, dipped significantly, and I was like, oh, was this? So it makes me wonder if it was like baked in somehow or something, so that when they're trying to, you know, scan everything, scan the originals, and also like up-res or whatever they're doing, if the like denoising and all that stuff is going like, I don't know what to do with all of the fog. And then so, because you would think that if they were thinking ahead, which they wouldn't have been, because who would know Blu-ray be a thing or whatever, that they would like have saved these things separately. Like, here's it without the fog and here's just the fog, and then they just recombine it again. But it makes me assume, I wish Dan was here to tell us for sure, but it makes me assume that they did not do that, and that we're just watching this crunchy, weird. At least it only happened like 3 times, maybe, but it was still very distracting to me when it did happen. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked. I thought the beginning, the animation in the Batcave when Alfred's like brushing his cape and Robin's doing all the trapeze stuff. I thought that looked Phantasm good in quality.
Yeah, it was very clean.
Yeah.
And Batman does his little smirk and then jumps in the Batwing, and that was really or Batmobile. It was really smooth, and I got my Bat vehicles mixed up, you guys. I'm sorry. The Bat,
I do not forgive
whatever.
you.
I know. Well, you called it the Bat Jet or something. It started this like an idiot, so I'm just gonna let that slide.
I'm still new to this, okay?
No,
you're not. Not anymore. You can't say that anymore. You've been doing this for years now.
Shit. Yeah, you're right.
Even in the Batman the Animated Series community, Brian, it's debatable whether it's the Bat Plane or Bat Wing, so I'll let it slide. It's fine.
Wait, no. What?
Sometimes they call it the Bat Plane, sometimes they call it the Bat Wing.
What?
Yeah, you know. It's not the
No,
Bat
I
Jet,
don't know.
though.
I'm new to this.
We'll see the Jet Wing later.
The jet.
Yeah, don't worry
Jet
about
wing?
it.
It's just a single wing of a jet?
No. Well, I don't know, kind of. Anyway.
It's there.
But
it's a bit of it.
Brian, you mentioned at the end that everyone's eyeballs were real big, and I was hoping that you would notice that, because I notice that every time I see this episode, is that like they get progressively more and more Astro Boy over the course of the episode.
They do.
I'm not sure why, but yeah.
And by the very end, they're just straight up like massive anime eyes.
Yeah,
and,
Alfred
looks like a puppy dog.
Yeah, he looks like a Furby or something. Yeah.
Bruce Wayne's on mushrooms by the end of it. He's just like,
That could explain it, actually.
I was jacking off, and then I took shrooms, and then we had to go save Alfred.
I had a whole night planned, and you ruined it.
Oh my God, Alfred! This is great, but this is terrible timing.
I just popped a couple caps, Alfred.
Speaking of questionable substances, can we talk about the hot wine hallway in Red Claws?
You were confused about that. Am I just crazy? Isn't that like an ancient, like medieval, like hot oil is like a thing that they would keep like invaders out or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah, but not red wine.
I've got a mate down the road who lives in a castle, so he told me about this the other day.
Yeah,
right?
okay, cool.
Yeah, whenever like I don't know Jehovah's Witnesses come around, he just pours some
turn on the barbecue sauce and then it shoots out. Yeah, it was either barbecue sauce, it was wine, it was, what was the first thing you said?
I said
blood.
coffee.
You thought it was blood.
You thought coffee?
Yeah. Coffee.
Yeah,
okay,
I thought coffee.
yeah.
Yeah, or tea. I was like, that would be.
Well, I hope it's one of those things. Maybe not blood, but I hope it's just like a beverage or a food or something, because Batman does toss those couple guys down into it when he and Robin are hiding underneath the bridge, and then he's like, "Whoops!" And just
questionable. Add that to the list of Batman fatalities, which is actually it's very similar to that Mortal Kombat level.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, I thought it was maybe tea, because I thought that would have been real classic. Like, imagine that's how Batman died, like just burnt to death by British tea. Like,
I thought only Alfred could make tea, said Robin.
Red Claw's just up there with a bunch of Yorkshire bags and a huge kettle, just tossing them in.
Alfred's having a freak out because he's like, "You forgot the milk!"
The crumpets. Yeah.
So I had something I did want to see if you guys noticed as well, because I've seen this show obviously loads of times, do a podcast on it, all that jazz, and I've never realized how fucking awkward the Wayne Manor living room is. It's so weird because you're in this gigantic room with this massive staircase, and then they squish all the furniture and the TV and the carpet and bookshelves. Everything is just like in the middle of the room, like a fucking psychopath would be living there. Like, and there's probably like electrical wires like running to the walls like 50 feet away. And I was like,
why is the TV is like plugged in through the floor or something? Like it must be. Yeah.
And it's just this huge room with this little space that's just like crammed into the middle. I'm like, that looks terrible.
Off camera at all times, because we never see it any other time, is that giant room TV that they watch the Christmas special in or whatever.
The theater room.
Christmas the Joker. Yeah.
And then he's got the projector for Grey Ghost as well.
Right. Somewhere else. Yeah.
I'll go out on a limb and just say that like they're detectives and like secret agents, not interior designers. So like maybe they get a pass. But
little Dick Grayson's room has like a bed in the middle of a giant room also. And I have to
real
assume
bad feng shui with this.
Maybe Batman didn't quite finish putting all his furniture in. Bruce didn't by the time he found the Batcave, and so all he knows is like enormous space. Put everything in here somewhere, and then that's what he just does with everything else too.
Well, you mentioned Aladdin before. It's like phenomenal cosmic power, itty bitty living space.
But the opposite, phenomenal cosmic living space.
Is that the title of the episode?
I was just about to say
yes, absolutely.
Another thing I saw was everyone was terrible at shooting a gun. Like, I know we have no gun laws over here, but if we didn't, I don't think it would matter because no one could fucking shoot anybody anyway in this episode. Like, point blank, they're firing at Batman and just missing. Like, and he's not even moving. He's just kind of like slowly getting there.
Well, they're on like the spiral staircase to get to Red Claw, and you see guys shooting down the stairs at Batman and Robin. They're like, oh fuck, gunfire, and jump around the corner. There's no like, oh, they're reloading or something. Robin just goes, and now I'm gonna come fully into view again to throw a batarang. I'm like, why would you do that? You might die. But he didn't. He was fine.
Go get him, old chum.
Batman's fed up with Dick being all like, I thought Alfred was just the butler. And he's like, you go check and see if the ghost is clear.
Batman, I can still hear the gunfire. I'm pretty sure they're gonna miss. Just go throw a frisbee at him.
This is a cartoon, Robin. Yeah.
I'm so glad you're wearing bright orange and red.
Yeah. They'll not see you in the dark. Yeah. Well, you mentioned their like detective clothes. I had that same thought of like everyone makes fun of the Marvel Cinematic Universe like disguise being like, oh, I'm wearing a baseball cap and sunglasses. Nobody knows who I am now, and that seems to be Batman and Robin's like out of costume being abroad disguise is like, I have gray coats, so now no one knows that I'm Bruce Wayne. Like,
well, to be fair, gray is perfect camouflage if you're in London because everything's gray, the sky is gray, the fog, everything is gray. So you wear gray, you're perfectly camouflaged.
I was like, it's not that foggy and wet, and I literally looked out my window and I was like, shit, it is.
Like, I like that they had all the like, oh, they drive on the left side of the road. We got to like take any point.
Hey, Fox kids watching, you got to remember they drive on the wrong side of the road, and there's a big clock and castles. Remember, this is England. It's not where you live, probably.
And it's pronounced croissant, not croissant.
Why did Alfred go if he knew the whole time that it was a trap? Because he's like, we called ourselves the wrong names and it must not be real. And then he showed up anyway. I guess because he's
help
in
his
trouble.
buddy.
Yeah.
Help his cousin.
But you would think he would be like, Batman, come with me. But in that case, I don't know.
Yeah, probably. But I was also really confused because like when they were drugged and Freddie, how dare I call him Freddie? Frederick.
Oh my God, that's not his name.
So rude. Frederick was just
you must be a bad guy.
Yeah. He was just spouting like random words that like it was like numbers and like a street name and stuff, and I was thinking if I had to be that person that had to write that down, I'd be like, I have no idea what they're saying. Like, I'm English.
Yeah.
I didn't know what he was saying.
He was mumbling so much, and then Red Claw's like, "Oh, write that down. That's the code." And it's like, acceptable code 1.
How did she know the start and the stop point? It could have been one of those words in between.
Yeah, she said absurdly simple.
Yeah, just like everyone else's passwords, this is the same thing.
But also, I'm really like stretching my memory here. I think one of the words in the code was 14, and she wrote down like
1-4.
1-4.
Yeah.
What? How would she know that wasn't spelled out? 14?
Despite the fact that whatever he said, whatever Frederick said, was properly typed in perfectly the first time. That aside, Alfred continues to say a bunch of shit for the next like hour. And she's like, fuck, why won't he just tell me the goddamn clue? And I'm like, right, and try any of that. He's saying so much stuff.
His first, 5 minutes of rambling, she's over there, nope.
Yeah. Okay, clearly he's just fucking with me. Yeah. And then he's saying a bunch of poetry and lines from books and stuff. And then another time that he says that, she's like, well, that must be the code. And then it is. Yeah.
So speaking of the Red Claw thing, does she...
she tags her goons? Is that what you're going to say?
This is what I'm getting at. At what point in time is she in the hiring process? She's like, okay, well, you got really good credentials. You passed all the tests. All that's left is for you to get your drug test and your tattoo. And they say, what?
They go, blimey.
It's just a little forearm tattoo so that Robin can pull up your sleeve and know exactly how to identify who you're working for.
What I took that as was similar to a skinhead or something, where you just are like, I follow Red Claw, so I'm gonna put this shit on me. I'm trying to give it a little bit of logic, Brian. I know you don't want to.
I'm dismissing your logic immediately, because why did Robin just roll up that guy? Batman's like, oh, they'll wake up in a minute and then we can question them. And Robin's like, whoop, pulls up the sleeve.
Yeah.
No, it's Red Claw. I knew to pull up his right sleeve.
For one, they could have put it into the tattoo database that they had to find Rhino or whatever. And for two, makes me even more upset at Robin for not remembering or knowing that Alfred had any sort of life outside of making tea for them, is that Robin and Alfred in this episode both, without explanation, know who Red Claw is, despite not being in the previous Red Claw episode. So clearly off screen they I learned all about Red Claw, but you don't fucking bother to learn about your dad. The guy that takes care of you and changes your poopy buttholes and all this stuff. Come on, man. And you're like, why does Bruce Wayne know this about Alfred? I'm like, because he's his dad, basically. He would know this. And Robin just never cared. He never gave a shit about Alfred, I guess. So.
He's too busy fantasizing about his gymnastic routines.
Too busy being a college dick to know what to do.
Classic college dick.
A master dick, by the way.
Yeah.
This one.
Yes, a master dick. So the official synopsis.
Right.
Wow.
International terrorist Red Claw has Alfred kidnapped when the butler makes a visit to his native England. It seems Alfred once worked for the British Secret Service, and Red Claw has learned he was entrusted with the firing code to a hidden long-range missile. Batman and Robin have to rescue Alfred before Red Claw learns the firing code, or else she will use the missile to bring England to its knees. The end.
Okay. That's not too much of a spoiler.
No, these later ones have been pretty good about not being and then Tigress turned around and walked away, and then Tigress was on a mountain, and then Tigress said this.
But still, I want to know why bombing Trafalgar Square is the thing that's going to bring England to its knees.
Maybe they didn't know. They didn't know how good or bad the missile was. They just knew there's a big missile here, and then when Batman somehow knew, because he still blew it up above the town and everything was fine. But he guessed or knew, because then when he blew it up, the Red Claw, while drowning, went, "Ah, man, I guess it didn't work out. It wouldn't have worked anyway."
Yeah, she's drowning. She looks up and sees a little.
Yeah,
oh, well.
And then she dies.
I guess it was smaller than I expected.
Yeah, we never see. I don't think we see Red Claw again, do we? So
no, we don't ever. I'll just give that to you, Brian.
Oh fuck! So that's right. I forgot about that. I'm so sorry. I'm so used to my brother being like, and later down the line. Yeah,
that's 3 people Batman killed in this one episode. Just saying.
That's 4. I think there were 2 guys he threw off the bridge. One he drowned in the
Oh, that guy made such a sloppy wet noise when he hit the ground. It was so damp. It was like dropping like I don't know, like a big wet dildo or something.
Wet
it was just
episode.
like it was gross.
Oh, I mean, it is London. The water there is wetter.
It's wet, yeah. That moment where he pulls the guy into the water, and then also Red Claw just being in the Batwing, we're both like, did they watch Aliens and then go, oh, that would be a good idea? Because it felt very Aliens when she's just back there, like, oh, I got in the jet plane and everything's gonna be good, and then she behind him, and Red Claw has a second mouth that shoots out of her mouth. It's
red. It's a red claw.
It's the claw. Yeah.
Oh my God, we figured it out. Well done.
It's what brands them. That's exactly what brands them.
He goes, oh, he has like a bite taken out of his arm. It must be Red Claw.
It's the weirdest scar. It's all been so strange. That's one of the biggest thing that hangs me up too is Red Claw being in the Batwing. You mentioned, like, Alex, you mentioned that there were like, oh, maybe there's no locks on it or power locks on it, but like the door handles, like this seems like it's a really like bespoke piece of, you know, equipment and technology. How does she know to get in there, and why did she wait until he was just about to mess up her plan to jump out? Shouldn't he have like choked him?
Yeah, tension. Yeah, storytelling, I guess.
Batman. I guess. Yeah, well, it made me, that whole sequence made me very like uneasy, because I was thinking, so for starters, we were talking before the episode, before watching it, about like, oh, the guy that wrote the music for this is the Lockup music guy, and we liked the music in Lockup. And then that whole time, all the way from Batman going like, I know what to do, and pressing his utility belt button that calls the Batwing, I guess, all the way through an entire sequence of like, here comes the Batwing, and it's landing, and then Batman's running at a door, and then he goes out the door, and there it is, and then he gets in it, and then it goes back up, and then it flies away. Those were all separate shots to tell us Batman got in the Batwing. And there was no music the entire time. There was continuously no music after that, after he's flying for a while, lines up the, like, in the radar or whatever, there's still no music. And then when Red Claw appears, then there's music. And I'm like, okay, I guess if we knew that was about to happen, and Red Claw, and that was the tension you wanted to build, was like, music now. But the whole time I was just thinking, like, can we get some, like, this is a big, like, action scene. There's no, there's just sounds of zero and, like, cloud noises.
I didn't even clock that.
I think there was an ode to Star Wars at the end of this, because it was a very Death Star blowing up the Death Star moment. Like, especially even
very small Death Star.
Batman, you've turned off your comm link or whatever.
Well, I was thinking even Alfred's just like, use the Force, Master Bruce. I mean, it's very Alec Guinness.
So we have Aliens, we have Star Wars. What other movie can we include in this?
Well, I tell you what, the other one is James fucking Bond, and I think it was a huge influence.
And 101 Dalmatians.
And 101 Dalmatians. This
and a sprinkling of Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
No, I thought you would like this episode because of James Bond stuff, bro.
Yeah. This episode is very much like the book.
It was just like a film.
It was just like a movie, guys. It's very much like the book Moonraker. So I'm a massive Bond fan. Always have been, like, it's been Batman and Bond for me. I just love the two two characters
They're
so much.
They're split amongst me and Brian.
I wonder who you like. But I noticed that the book Moonraker is a lot like this episode, which is literally a bad guy does not like London and gets a Soviet missile and has it in like this elaborate castle base, and James Bond has to go and stop London from being blown up because he plans to destroy it and steal a bunch of money in the process. That's literally this episode. So I was like, shit's Moonraker.
When we were on one of the episodes with Dan Reba, he was mentioning that whatever episode that was very...
So it was Zatanna, yeah.
Yeah, it was like very like Bond-esque, and I asked him, and he was like, yeah, we're all huge Bond fans. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if it literally was like,
well, he also specified that they were huge fans of On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and then Brian and I watched that, and it was god-awful, and we don't know why people like it so much.
Excuse me, you can shut up right now. I'm leaving this podcast. That is a fucking great film. That is a great film.
Alex, I am so willing to entertain that idea, but I need some examples as to why.
Yeah, well, let's not bring it up now.
It's very much like the book, and I think Laserbeam gets a bad rap. I think he's a very good Bond. As you said, James, there's so much influence. Like there's Bond, and then just by chatting with all of our recent guests, like so much Hitchcock as well, which I've never really watched a lot until recently after chatting with Alan Burnett. This is a shameless plug, but after chatting with Alan Burnett, I was like, he is such a huge Hitchcock fan, and he's naming things, and he's calling to references of.
He kind of looks like him too. Yeah.
He does kind of look like him, and he was like, he talked about
he's modeled his self-image. Yeah.
What's that? Fear of Victory, where Batman falls through the window, and that woman, like I forget what she says, but she says, like no,
oh my, or whatever.
Oh yeah, oh my, and then oh my, which he told me is ripped off of North by Northwest, where he jumps in the room and it's like, no, stop, and so I've like delved into Hitchcock, and there's so many things that like they were influenced by. So Bond was one of them, but I don't know any of the others. So I've been exploring all of that and really enjoying it. And I felt there was quite a bit of Hitchcock feel to like the look of this episode as well, and especially just kind of the ambiance of it all was a little Hitchcockian. So I you know what, I kind of dig this episode now we talked about it. Like I was like, oh, this is going to be so much fun to make fun of, but like thinking about all the references we've just pulled, and like the story isn't awful. Like it's not a bad story.
This isn't an awful episode, and it's not like, oh my god, very good. At the same time though, I think the fact that like there was, I expect, my white Valentino back. I expect that they did not know possibly that this was going to be the final aired episode. If they did purposely arrange it in this way, cool. But either coincidentally or on purpose, good on it happening, because not only is it, like a weird book ending of Red Claw being in the very first episode and the very last episode, but then also, like, it's a pretty, even musicless, it's a pretty decent, like, oh shit, is Batman gonna blow up the missile with the Bat-Wing? Like, that's a pretty cool sequence there and stuff like that. Like, I could see this being, like, a purposely final episode to Batman. I think if they knew it was gonna be, they would have tagged on a better ending than just, and here I am, Alfred, at the airport, goodbye.
I don't know. So to kind of answer your question, also sort of skipping ahead, I don't think I'd put this in my top 10, but like legitimately top 20, top 15 maybe. I thought it was a great episode. And even as a last episode, like there's some things that are left a little ambiguous. You know, we leave with, you know, like Alfred is anime Alfred as kind of like our parting vision. But like, it's still like, it has a goodbye to it in a way. And I actually really like it as the final episode. I think it's super solid.
I think if we had watched in production and Batgirl Returns was the final episode, it would have just been like, oh, it's over, I guess.
Oh, like, that sounds awful as an ending.
Like, it's still a good episode also, but it doesn't have any like finality to it like this does.
Especially as like, you know, kind of like championing her. You know, in the kind of like showcasing, and that's more of like a introduction than it is an outro.
Yeah, and there's no Batman in that episode, so it's a bit
and there's no.
He's just like, I think he's in Paris or something like that.
Paris with his trench coat. He's got his trench coat.
That's right. Yeah. Nobody can know I'm Bruce Wayne when I'm here as Bruce Wayne. Yeah.
Isn't that when he looks at the Eiffel Tower for a really long time? Or?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
He makes a business deal with the Eiffel Tower.
He talks to the Eiffel Tower. Yeah, that's right. It's all coming back to me. Yeah. I mean, I guess we would have also bookended with Catwoman if Batgirl Returns had been the thing, but I think Red Claw is a cooler, like, she's just not in the series except for the start and the end, and then she's gone forever.
Yeah, she's a Bond
exactly.
villain. It's great. I thought it was good fun. I mean, it's bound to be my number one on my list, isn't it? Because
yes, it is.
Well, technically, you can put it wherever. Dylan Pollock would put he put Christmas with the Joker at number 11 just for starters. So you can do whatever when we get there.
I'll be the only person in the world that says my favorite episode is The Lion and the Unicorn.
As long as you don't say on leather wings, it's totally fine.
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah.
I am with James on that one, on leather wings.
Fuck yeah, man.
It's still it's because we're going in production order and we're just about to release the Grey Ghost this Thursday.
Nice.
Oh my god. I gotta
available wherever you get your podcast.
Yeah, baby. So the cast. We got Kevin Conroy as Batman, Lauren Lester as Robin, Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. as Alfred. Those are the ones that are always, I don't need to explain who they are. But they all did a pretty decent job in this episode, I think. We don't really tend to talk about that when we list the cast. We're like, yep, these are the people. But I think they did a solid job. Batman's starting to eke into his less raspy Batman voice, I think, at this point, which I think I prefer. Especially in stuff like on Leather Wings, where he's just like, oh my god, everything is this.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you don't have to go that far.
He's now more of like a stern dad. You know what I mean? Like, you did what?
Yeah.
Where?
Alfred, I was masturbating. You sound too breathy, Master. Yeah.
Is there someone on the other line? Hello?
Yeah, you just hear this like woman's voice come on the line. Who the hell's Alfred? Yeah. Kate Mulgrew as Red Claw. I'll just remind the listener she's Captain Janeway on Star Trek Voyager, but Brian is not familiar with Star Trek stuff, so the red-headed woman captain.
She's also
that makes a
she
difference.
is Red, the character Red from Orange is the New Black.
Yes,
which is fun.
Brian also going, I don't care.
No idea on that one? Okay.
I haven't seen that show, no.
So the two goons in this episode, I don't know if you caught this, Brian or Alex, are named Bert and Ernie.
Yes.
No
okay, I heard Ernie, but you never hear Bert, and I was like, please be called Bert and Ernie.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's our second Bert and Ernie reference in that there. I don't know if did you listen to the Mask of the Phantasm episode? There was a piece of trivia about the guy at the end on the boat that comes out like, oh, I'm sorry, do you want to be left alone? His name is Burton Ernie.
Yeah,
in the novelization. So I don't know why they're obsessed with this, but they are.
I also love Andrea's answer. I am, and she's just so like sad.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to be alone? And she goes, what did you say your name was? Burton Ernie? Yeah, please leave me alone. Go away. I am alone. Yeah. But Bert was voiced by Adam Ant.
What?
Of Adam and the Ants, yeah.
Oh my god.
He has been a bunch of like random little acting bits over the years, but nothing of note that I wrote down. Most of his IMDb was like Adam and the Ants, this music video, Adam and the Ants, this music video. But yeah, I was just like, no, not the Adam Ant. And then I looked like it is him. So
it's a pretty popular surname. I mean,
yeah. Well, it could be Atom Ant, the '60s Hanna-Barbera character. Well, but I was just wondering, like, I thought like, okay, maybe this is the start of like they purposely cast British actors in this episode or something like that, but nobody else I think is so I don't know what the deal with that was, or maybe he's like, put me on the Batman show please. He just really wanted to be here. Roy Doctress as Frederick. He is the narrator on a ton of Game of Thrones audiobooks, and he also played the head of the Alchemists Guild in the show, who was in charge of the King's Landing stock of wildfire. This means nothing to Brian, but I watched Game of Thrones. It's fine.
Yeah, I did too, but that still
but I don't
nothing
remember
to me.
that guy. Yeah, he was there for like 2 episodes, yeah.
Isn't that the thing with Game of Thrones, that there's just like an infinite amount of characters, like named characters,
And they
that you're
all
supposed
die
to know?
at some point.
If you're English and you're an actor, you're in Game of Thrones. It's just kind of like, that's just bound to happen.
Sweet. What episode are you in?
What episode was Adam Ant in? Roy Doctress also voiced Destroyer in the Spider-Man 90s animated series, which you must be familiar with, Alex, but I don't remember his character.
I don't. Destroyer.
Destroyer in Marvel to me is that like shiny Valhalla dude, but I don't know if that's actually it.
No, that is him. Yeah, he is in the last season in like a bunch of episodes towards the end. Yeah.
He also notably, I think, to most people, but I've never watched this. He was the Beast's father in the 80s Beauty and the Beast show, which starred Ron Perlman and Linda Hamilton.
It's crazy.
I'm sorry. What?
Yes.
I knew about the show, but I just like seen the case a couple times in the video store or something. And then went to look up like the Beast was Ron Perlman and Belle was Linda Hamilton. It's like, what the fuck is this?
I can't imagine specifically Ron Perlman being in any role that's supposed to have like an endearing, like attractive quality.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's the Beast though. Most of the time he's in makeup and he's just like
the spell is broken and he turns back into Ron Perlman and she goes,
it's just the same as the Disney cartoon and everyone's like, he's better as the Beast.
He's more handsome,
yeah.
We got Richard Doyle as Ernie. He played the mayor in the Dark Knight Returns animated movies. He was Senator Robert Kelly in Wolverine and the X-Men cartoon. He plays Enoch in a few episodes of Ben 10. He was credited as the voice of orcs in several Lord of the Rings video games. I don't know if that meant he did every single orc voice, but or multiple people got the orcs credit. I don't know. He'll be back as a few minor roles. We have Kenneth Mars as M2, which was one of the three M1, 2, 3 of the what did you call them?
The Kingsmen.
The Kingsmen, yes. He was one of the three Kingsmen. He previously voiced Richard in Sideshow, who was that like hunchback leader guy of the group. He's notably King Triton in The Little Mermaid and Inspector Kemp in Young Frankenstein, which Brian played in Young Frankenstein.
My man.
We also already discussed this, but he unfortunately played a character named Native American on Duckman Private Dick. So there's that as well.
Thanks for listening to the pod, everybody. We're going to wrap it up here.
Go away. Hal Rail as cameraman. I guess that must have been the guy that was filming Red Claw for like 2 seconds.
Oh, what was that video as well? Like she's sitting cross-legged. Like that is what you chose. Like she was so casual. Like I'm going to blow up London if you don't give me money. And I'm like, why are you sitting like you're having like a goss or something like that? Like a quick like let's spill the tea.
She also had quite the millennial pause at the start of the video because she was just like the camera turned on. She's sitting there in black and white for like a good 3 seconds, so you the viewer can see what's happening. And then we show the camera and the guy's like getting in focus and position and stuff. And then it cuts back to her. She waits another couple seconds and then she starts talking. And I was just thinking like, Mrs. Claw, go. Like, you're on. Everyone's watching all the...
I told you to count down from 3 and you haven't done that yet.
We had to do 3, 2, 1, poopy butthole. Why did you did not give me the signal? I kind of hope that she wasn't actually live. They were just filming that. They were just recording it because she doesn't necessarily have the Joker take over all TV's technology. So she's just like, "Are you recording?" And like, yes. Definitely.
James, this is another reason why you need to watch Frisky Dingo, because they touch on this in the very first episode where it's like the supervillain like takeover kind of thing. Yeah. And then, they like wrap it up. He's like, oh, okay, now what? And he's like talking about like expecting them to just like put it into every TV everywhere.
Yeah.
And then they start talking about like distribution and like rights and like how much it's going to cost. And
get this on DVD.
Yeah, if it was TikTok, she'd be all right? Like, hello, TikTok, here I am. I'm going to blow up London. Hashtag pay me money.
That's why she was pausing. She was waiting for it to start populating viewers before she... Yeah. I can see only 3 people are watching, so we will wait a little longer.
Love for her to just do the like. It seemed like she was a little unexperienced with technology, except for getting into the Bat-Wing. So she'd do the whole like, kind of live streamer, getting right up into the camera.
Yeah.
Cool. Red Claw fan number 1. Welcome back to the chat. I haven't seen you in a while.
Thank you for the donation.
What if it's 3 minutes of her like just like speaking? You can't hear anything, and then she looks off screen and goes back and is like. Can you hear me? She's like mouthing words and she's like pressing stuff.
Everyone in the chat, so you're muted. Yeah. Turn on mic.
No sound.
So Hal Rail is cameraman. He was previously a henchman in If You're So Smart, Why Aren't You Rich? And broker in What Is Reality. He also played Shrapnel in 80s Transformer stuff, and he was the Predator in Predator 2. So there's our alien connection, I guess.
All right, closing the gap.
And then lastly, we have BJ Ward as M3.
The one who just casually slid super secret documents don't read across the table to Batman.
The one that Red Claw is definitely dating, right? Like, let's be honest.
What did it say? Like ultra super secret or something, like mega secret. Definitely don't look at this. Yeah. Brian's choking on his drink.
Whatever you do, don't open this document, yeah?
Do not give to Batman.pdf.
So, like, but here's the ridiculous thing of that for me is that she does, like, the Batman appears in this super top secret room, and they're like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "We don't have time for this." And they're like, "Okay." And just like slide the file across. No explanation. No, like, I'm a super awesome guy. He just happened to know like a couple of right things to say. And they're like, well, this guy's obviously trustworthy. Let's give him all of our information.
He knew the guy's name that was kidnapped.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. Batman had such a stare off with the Kingsman. There was like the camera kept on cutting to everyone's face. It was Batman staring at them, and then it cut between all three Kingsmen, and they all staring at him. Then it cut back to Batman, and he's still staring at them, and then he won because they're like, "All right, we'll tell you what the plan is."
Damn, he didn't blink a single time. That's the rules. We have to give you the document now.
It's the British way.
Oh, yeah. I was saying, this is all like American and British politeness. And there's just no way to British. Like, this is too long of a pause. Whatever you want, you can take it.
This is really uncomfortable. Yeah.
Batman's like, America wins again.
Red Claw Red Claw and Batman's millennial pause versus each other. Just whichever one holds out the longest. Well, even that sequence itself was also very, like, similarly to the Batwing taking off, was really quick too, where it was like, I think it was supposed to be held on each shot of everyone's reactions a little bit longer, but they must have like, oh, we need to cut time out of the episode or something, so I'll just go like, huh? Yes? Ooh? Me? Okay, give him the thing. It was just over that quickly.
It was very, as you said, like anime, right? Like it was all like the jumpy, like, let's move along quickly. Like,
they might as well have been going like, huh? At each other the whole time,
Anime Alfred, and I just think about all the noises and things that he would say. And like everything's gonna end with sir, like, huh? Ooh, huh? Sir?
Master.
You have to fly the Batwing to London.
You're not my real father.
Oh my God! Somebody please animate this episode in Speed Racer style, please. I'm begging you. That's what is that scene with like the silence in the like the Batwing, landing and taking it off and all that jazz. You can just put like the Speed Racer theme.
Exactly.
Straight over the top of it. It's like add your own music
for it. Yeah. We didn't know what to do, so you can put it in later, 20 years from now. Okay, BJ Ward as M3. She played a character named Uvula on Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. I don't remember this character, but I believe it. She was Betty Ross in the 80s Hulk animated series, Medusa in the 80s Spider-Man animated series, Glinda the Good Witch in the 90s Wizard of Oz animated series, which I didn't even know existed.
Nope.
She played characters Mother Rabbit and Mother Possum in the Splash Mountain video game in 1989.
You're just making up words now, Jamie.
Yeah. This is his password to the missile.
Okay, here's the password. Additional voices on Microsoft Flight Simulator 10. Which was an actual thing, I told you. She's most known as the voice of Velma on Scooby-Doo stuff from 1997 to 2002, and one of many actors to play Wonder Woman woman on Super Friends, so that was kind of cool.
Okay.
And she was not on Duckman Private Dick. I was hoping for this as a finale. I looked up Duck. She was on Darkwing Duck, and she was in a movie that I'd also never heard of, like a late 80s, early 90s Looney Tunes movie called Daffy Duck's Quackbusters.
I've seen that.
Daffy Duck and a group of other Looney Tunes characters doing detective stuff.
I've seen that shit. I've seen it.
Oh my god.
It was good when I was a kid, but I'm sure it's not good now.
I've never seen this yet.
Time
it was
to grab
one of those
a brew.
ones where they took a bunch of episodes and then they animated in between to tell the story, but the animation would be totally different, right? Because you would have up-to-date animation and then a Looney Tune episode from 1962.
And Chuck Jones, yeah. Weird.
I want to watch this while being irresponsibly drunk.
Okay, so Brian, we'll do the bottom 7 12, and then we'll watch Daffy Duck's Quackbusters.
You gotta do it on mushrooms. Clearly, that's what you.
Yeah. Except we're doing a circle jerk before we start.
Can somebody call my butler? I want to be interrupted.
I'm coming too, sir.
Freddie on the phone.
That's Frederick, you asshole.
There's only very specific times where we call each other Alfie and Freddie, and it's not a good time. Oh my god. Okay, let me get through trivs here.
No.
In the Batman animated production book, Paul Dini described this episode as the type of traditional Batman and Robin escapade that the network was always insisting on when changing the name of the show to The Adventures of Batman and Robin. Do we feel like this is a traditional Batman and Robin escapade?
If by traditional Batman and Robin escapade you mean that Robin just repeats the same boring shit over and over again while Batman makes stuff happen, then yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
He did repeat one of his prior jokes, I think. In Second Chance, he drops down on a dude's windshield upside down and is like, "Wash your windows, mister." And then this one, he's like, what he says some other.
He's like, "Can I
stupid
see
ass-
your license?"
Yeah, that was way worse. Yeah.
And then he could have killed all of them on the bus by he caused a major accident.
He just veers out of control.
And then Batman looks pissed at him when he comes out of the bus. Like, do you know how fucking dangerous that was?
I was in there, dude. Yeah. That sequence was a little weird to me because they get in the bus, and Brian, you said as we were watching it, is like, and no one's in there. And so while I'm thinking about that, I noticed that whichever one of them is the shorter one starts backing away from the windshield, like, oh shit, like he sees something. And I'm like, oh, I know the clip of Robin jumping down on the window. Robin must be on the window. They're going to turn and see Robin. But then there's a whole 10 seconds of Batman kicks the door open and fights that guy. And then they all turn toward the window and then Robin appears. What was he afraid of? What was he doing? I'm in a bus. I'm scared. This is a horse. I thought this was a horse.
He was probably just thinking of his line. He's like, I've done the window wash line. Like, what am I going to say now? License. Let's go with license.
Robin's hanging out upside down for a good 15 seconds. Just, what do I say? What's the best? And that guy's going, oh shit, there's a guy on the window.
I'm going to go ahead and assume that he was just terrified of the foggy streets of London. He's like, I can't see 10 feet in front of this bus.
Yeah, really.
We got to slow down.
Brian, I don't know if you had any thoughts on this. Alfred says there is only one London. In reality, there are at least 27 Londons on planet Earth.
There's only one that matters, though. Let's be honest.
I guess it could have just been cheeky Alfred being cheeky Alfred, but
I mean,
he's wrong. Still.
I grew up not 20 minutes from a new London, as most New England towns are named. They're just like, where did you come from? I came from London. Well, now you live in New London. Cool.
It's different. IMDb had there being a London, Belize, London, Canada, London, New Guinea, London, Finland, London, Kiribati, London, Nigeria, 3 Londons in South Africa, and 17 Londons in the United States.
Whoa.
So I guess that's a thing.
And Batman would know that, right? So Alfred's like, there's only one Master Booth, and he's like, actually, Alfred, there's actually 55.
Which fucking London? I need to know where to go. Yeah.
Turns out Alfred's just really bad at geography.
Yeah, he's not even in England. He's in the London in Connecticut or something like that.
Okay, that's the only one I know. Yeah.
It would explain his disappearance. He's just like, oh, I'm just going to grab this bus and go the next state over. This is fine.
Yeah.
Batman's like, he's in London, and he flies across the Atlantic.
If we didn't see Batman for most of the episode, and then finally in the last 2 seconds, he swoops in to destroy the missile. He's like, you would not believe how many Londons I had to check before I showed up. Well, we should have known. We made this joke while watching the episode. Batman should have gone east, and he would have found the right London. Yeah, or he would have found multiple Londons, but whatever.
I mean, to be fair, Connecticut is east of New York.
Everything's east of each other if you go far enough.
Connecticut is definitely known for its castles. Yeah.
Yeah.
The next trip said that the castle that they're in, which I don't know how to pronounce, Blair Guhan, is a castle in Scotland, I guess.
Blair Goulin?
That's what the DCAU wiki spelled it wrong, if that's what it actually is. But,
Right, okay.
Irish is so confusing to me. You ask me to like Siobhan or whatever, and you look at how the name's spelled.
Siobhan,
yeah. Like it doesn't make, and I think Scottish is that same way, where it's just
it
like,
could be, yeah.
you know.
Oh, you fools! You American fools!
Yes,
Look,
I agree.
in America, English only has specific pronunciations. It's all really easy.
Yeah,
we know what to do.
We produced all of our words that way
We produced the
intentionally.
words. Yeah.
Well, it's the best. So I actually lived in America for a very long time. I moved out there when I was 10 to New Jersey, and I lived in Jersey for like. Hey, you steady on. Fuck off there, right? And then I went to uni in like Maine. So I was
What?
all over. Yeah,
Where were you in
I was
Maine? Portland?
University of Southern Maine, so Portland. Yeah, and then I
There's
spent
only
the rest
one Portland.
Yeah. And I spent the rest of my time in like New Hampshire and like Boston and stuff like that.
Where were you in New Hampshire, buddy? You can't just drop this casual New England stuff around me.
But then when I came back here, you know, I would see like a sign for like Westerham, but it's Western, right? But I would my, because I still had like I kept my English accent for the most part, but I was like, does anybody know how to get to Westerham? And I had so many looks like, who the fuck is this guy? And why is he saying Westerham?
The maps when driving through a big bus would always be turn left on Willa Gillis P. Instead of Willa Gillespie. And I'm like,
Willa
Jesus
Gillespie,
Christ. Yeah, like, come on, man.
Will I just go pee? Like, is that what you want me to do?
Turn left and then pee wherever you feel like.
Didn't realize GPS is giving bathroom instructions now. That's pretty handy, actually.
I'd say, like, if those goons were the ones giving me, like, sat-nav directions, I wouldn't know what the hell they're saying. They'll turn left by the Thumping Crow and then go up by the Ola.
All right. The lion and the unicorn are the supporters of the royal coat of arms of the United Kingdom. Check me on this, Tribs. It is an analog for Great Britain that has been used in a nursery rhyme. Alfred's part of the code is the first two lines of the song. Do you know the nursery rhyme, Alex? Sing it for us now.
I mean, when I'm born, they tattoo it on your back with the Red Claw logo.
Red Claw,
They brand you with it. Do you know what? I didn't even know that. I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing. I'm more American than I am English sometimes because I
Okay,
lived
yeah.
there for so long. So I grew up.
Do you
there.
know the New Jersey coat of arms nursery rhyme?
I pledge to fucking shoot you and put you in a fucking hole and then go get a bagel.
The lion and the unicorn with the Dunko Donuts, okay? It goes like this. The lion and the unicorn were fighting for the crown. The lion beat the unicorn all around the town, just like what Bruce was doing when Alfred called. Some gave them white bread and some gave them brown. Some gave them plum cake and drummed them out of town. That's how it goes. Now you know, you don't remember it forever.
Oh, that's great.
I will never forget.
Yeah, speaking of the truth serum, Alfred quotes the opening lines of The Brook and later on The Charge of the Light Brigade, both by his namesake, Alfred Tennyson. Did you know that?
No.
Nope.
Okay. Alfred mentions that he hates being called Alfie. Michael Caine, who played Alfred in Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, also played the eponymous Playboy in 1966's Alfie.
Oh.
Interesting.
It's like they knew.
Alfred's cousin Frederick is drawn to look like David Niven, a British actor who's portrayed many secret agents in movies. I know him from the Pink Panther movies.
Shit, he does look like David Niven. Oh my god, yeah, he's the Pink Panther. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. While struggling with Batman from the seat behind him, Red Claw tears off his cowl. However, it's never made clear whether or not she got a good look at his face, which would make her realize that Bruce Wayne is Batman. That's what is written down here, but I also don't know why Red Claw would necessarily know who Bruce Wayne is. She'd be like, oh, clearly a guy is in the Batman costume, and I've proven that. He has black hair. Interesting.
She's also dead, so it doesn't even matter.
It doesn't matter, yeah.
That's why he did it.
Trip.
He probably should have just turned around and said, I'm Bruce Wayne, and then like press the launcher
but it's about to not matter. Because I'm going to murder you. Yeah.
I'm Bruce Wayne.
Look into my giant black pupils.
That are sometimes blue, but depending on the episode, yeah.
I'm Bruce Wayne, and my butler rudely interrupted me while I was having a wank.
You did this to me. I was having a good time, and you had to kidnap Alfred. All right, well, let's move on to keen effects.
Sure.
Fog, I guess. It wasn't very keen, but it was there.
There's a really, and I can't tell you where, I can't tell you who it occurs on. I think it was just some random goon. They did like the film noir thing. Did you guys catch that?
Oh yeah, the like vignette, like sudden.
Yeah, like he looked up and was like,
vignette. Yeah,
very speed racer.
No, I missed that. Oh shit!
It was a cool. I just caught. I was like, wow, that's. I don't think I've ever seen that in this show. And they're like, boom, here's one. Okay, bye.
I just noticed that they drew the teeth lines on the goons because British teeth bad. So
yeah, you have to draw. Yeah.
I was like, okay, everyone else just has like big white rectangles for teeth, and the British guys have to have like actual Joker teeth. Like, we don't brush, as they said.
The massive irony of this. I was thinking about this the other day, so I have to bring it up. The whole like bad British teeth stereotype thing, and like the reality of us living in a country with no universal health care and most people not being able to afford dentistry.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, we have to pay for our dentistry out here as well. So
we still persevere.
That's the only thing that we have to pay for, which is probably why that stereotype exists, because that's the only healthcare you have to pay for out here.
You think I'm going to give you money for this?
I have nice teeth, by the way. For anyone that doesn't know, they're nice.
They can't see you. We can see you, and that's not true at all.
But to be fair, Brian, I haven't been to the dentist in fucking years, mate. I have no idea.
No, neither have I.
Which is really bad. I'm falling into that stereotype.
Yeah, you're doing great. Your teeth are lovely.
Cost you $2 bob to fix your chompers around here.
Too quick. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know any. I can't think of any keen effects besides like maybe the steam off the barbecue sauce was kind of neat looking.
The hot wine.
Hot wine. Sorry,
hot wine barbecue sauce.
I like the glowy lights on the Batwing, like charging up, and then the fire coming out the stuff. I really love. Cool.
I love the sound of the Batwing. Like that when you said there was no music, I really didn't notice because I was enjoying the hum, like the TIE fighter, like as it was like flying
It's very
around.
breathy. Sound that the Batwing always makes. Yeah. Brian has decided he's going to sit
down. He's like, oh, Alex is a talker. Okay, I'm going to sit down.
Sit the fuck down.
No,
we haven't even gone to listener quotes yet. I'm going to sit the fuck down.
Batman's usefulness. He saved Alfred. He did a pretty good job. He saved London, all of London. All 1 square foot of London that would have blown up, or whatever metrics you'd use over there.
The fact that the last episode of Batman is not him saving Gotham City, his city, he saves London is so weird.
It's a bit interesting, but also like he's like saving basically his like adopted father's homeland, so that's got to count for something, right?
Sure.
But what's the rating? I feel like I'm unprepared for this.
Yeah, I know. I feel like we've talked about so many hot liquids.
Okay, I got a thing.
Okay.
And fuck! I forgot you guys do this. Fuck! Now
you got to pick an object.
You have about 30 seconds to figure it out. I'm gonna give Batman. He did a pretty good job. He interrupted his fun time to go save Alfred. I'm gonna give him 9 Robin gymnastic routines out of 10.
Fuck. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess it wasn't exactly what I was gonna do, but I was gonna give him like 8.5. the smallest tank top that Robin puts on after Alfred tells him to put a
That's
shirt
fine.
on. Yeah, so it works.
Still valid.
And I'm going to give him 8 out of 10 total slap in the face, Red Claw, as hard as she can. She smacks Frederick in the face so fucking hard.
We didn't talk about that at all.
I kind of thought you were going to say hardest slap in the face, like to the viewer, Red Claw ass filling half the shot whenever she's leaned over Fred. She's like leaned over Frederick, like, you will tell me that. And then it shows Alfred and just Red Claw's butt the entire other half of the frame. And I was like,
and
hello.
Alfred's like, I regret not calling you a lady. You are definitely a lady.
I see now. I was wrong. Yeah.
Them cakes are hot. There's some hot cakes you got underneath that outfit. Yeah, but she slaps she says, what does she say to I think I wrote it down somewhere. Oh yeah, I've wasted enough courtesy on you two. And then Frederick goes like, courtesy? Not that I've seen. And then she just slaps him across the face.
Wails on him, yeah.
And he's like, oh shit, okay, I'm not going to make any jokes anymore. Like that was a no-no. All right, well, now I'm going to change my answer.
I saw the ass and I needed to...
I'm going to change the answer to 8 out of 10.
Could you please smack me again?
Just Red Claw, 8 out of 10. Hotcakes. That's what I'm going to do.
Red Claw's red cakes.
Yeah.
Books or hip hop for this episode? I guess I gotta give it books because British feels books to me. You guys don't have hip hop over there.
Have you never heard of the Streets?
I don't know. I still feel like it's more books, but the ending was pretty hip hop with the Batwing chase thing. So
I'm gonna give it specifically the song "Let's Push Things Forward" by the Streets.
All right,
it does move things forward,
right?
You have a book or hip hop opinion, Alex?
I'm gonna say a book on hip hop.
You know,
Classic.
I didn't even mention how that might be the final Batman's usefulness for quite a while.
Oh shit!
Because we'll be switching it up. I've got an idea,
Jamie.
For
we
the next.
We have talked about this though.
What? Yeah.
And just even if he's not in the episode, we can still rate his usefulness.
No, I think it'll be funnier to do it in just episodes he appears in. I have another idea for Superman that I'll bring up.
Oh no!
Oh, I'm excited to hear that one.
He's got that look in his eyes again.
Yeah, I guess I've got to amend my answer for a third time then, because I can't have Batman's usefulness and not use Batman for the last one for a while. So I'd say 8 out of 10 Batwanks. That's got to be it.
Top 10. So where are you putting this, Alex, first of all? Because you get to choose any number, really.
I mean, it's, it's a pretty good episode. I guess I'd put it in my top 20 of the whole show somewhere. It would fit in there, I think. So
pick a number. You have to pick a fucking number.
What's a number that British people like? I have to make sure that they like. Actually, I'll say.
How old was the Queen when she died?
Yeah. 94, 95. I guess I will.
Out of 85 episodes.
I guess I will say 15 because the word tea is in teen. So there we go.
Okay, perfect.
Lovely.
There's several other options. We got the Lion and the Unicorn. Where are you putting this, Brian? Anywhere?
I'm not going to put it on my top 10, but it absolutely gets honorable mention. This was a super solid way to go out.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't the Sewer King.
Yeah. What if I had just lied to you this whole time? Oh, he is actually in the last episode.
No! Here I am.
Red Claw falls in the water and he's like relocated to a sewer in London. She swoops down in there. My new beloved children. I see.
That turns into a Saw movie at that point.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do top 10 either, but it was a good episode.
Great episode.
Enjoyable. Yeah. So now, I'll say that we'll go ahead and do Yoppie Mail with you, Alex, if you don't mind, if you're fine with sticking around. I know it's a little bit late in the eve for you over yonder river hopping.
I'm getting pretty long in my big, ugly British teeth, but yeah, I'll stick around.
Yeah, okay, cool. But then after that, we'll probably kick you out of here. Brian and I will do a little bit of a conclusion to our Batman time on the podcast, and then we'll be good. But we'll do the Yoppie Mail right now.
That yop. That one small extra yop. Put it over.
We drop
What we drop?
our weekly yops
Oh yeah, those.
into the comment box. First, there sure was a lot.
Now Jamie's mad.
Too bad we're wrong.
At least I am.
Just Dylan
Whatever your
Paula.
last name is, Robson. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah!
Well done.
If you are a listener listening to this that's not Alex, and you want to reach out to us like the fire hand at the end of the cat and the claw part 2, way to fuck it up on the last time you might say that. Jim. No, I'll keep saying that forever. I've added this. Let me. If you want to reach out to us like the fire hand at the end of the cat and the claw part 2, or the arm of roaches behind Bullock's coat, email us at batwagonpod@gmail.com per the suggestion. I think we might continue to add like other reaching things throughout all this.
By the way, this is where I pull my mask off, and I actually am Dylan Pollock.
Oh my God!
Shit! Can you do a Dylan Pollock impression? Yeah.
I'm a funny guy, and I know stuff about Batman.
That sounds just like him.
Yeah, I know.
It works.
I mean, you two could legitimately be brothers. You look very similar.
You do kind of look similar.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, shit. I don't know what he looks like.
A lot like you.
You never will. But not fucking stupid.
What?
If you send in a voice
Jesus,
message, I don't
Jamie.
know. Sorry. Keep it under 60 seconds.
Literally, your first listener. You shit on him all the time.
We do, yeah. That's true.
And he keeps on coming back.
We
for more.
do, Jamie. We do.
Yeah.
Big air
Yeah,
quotes
Brian.
there.
More Brian than me.
Get out of
Yeah.
here.
All right, everyone knows this spiel about sending in mail. Just do it. Let's see. This first one comes from Dylan Pollock, The Lion and the Unicorn, which I now know. Yeah, you, British Dylan Pollock, which
That's my new YouTube name.
I was just gonna put that in the title of this episode. Feet British Dylan Pollock. This is The Lion and the Unicorn, which I now know, thanks to Urban Dictionary, means Alfred, Freddy, and Red Claw were getting up to some nasty stuff.
Fuck, that broke me. Oh my God.
All right, I'll play it for you. Okay. Here we go.
Okay.
It's time for the thoughts of the week from Dylan Pollock on The Lion and the Unicorn, or, Red Claw comes back. Okay, I guess. Who could forget everyone's favorite DCAU show, The New Adventures of Alfred and Freddy, with such villains as Red Claw, Evil Clone Alfred, and, Dust? Robin asks, was there a butler strike called? I don't know, Dick. How well are you treating Alfred that you're all hopped up about missing breakfast, you bastard? Sorry, it's in poor taste to call Dick a bastard with the dead parents, isn't it? How did no one ever make a trailer out of the Pennyworth show dubbed over with this Alfred? You ever watch that Pennyworth show? It was just fine.
Barely.
It was absolutely fine.
No clue what you're talking about.
Not much to say about this one. Kind of a going out with a whimper for Batman the Animated Series, but let's not go out with a whimper on this voice message. So it's time for the question of the week, James's favorite
That's
part.
my favorite part.
Who would win in a fight? Someone who can read minds or someone who can see the future?
Oh, fuck, Dylan. Why you do this to
Whoa.
us? Episode's already long.
Someone that can see the
read the future. If they could read see the future, then the mind reader would just read their mind and know the future also.
So it's a stalemate.
I don't know.
But what are we talking about here? Is it a mind reader who's like a skinny wimp like me, and then you got a future seer who's just like this big strong man and punch him in the ass and he's fine. He's done.
Yeah, if you're Professor X, you're pretty much like, you're not going to be able to do anything with the mind reading. If it's like, I don't know, Magneto can see the future or something, you're done for.
Oh, yeah. Okay, this is...
I don't know, Dylan. I don't know the answer.
That's tricky.
I also don't agree that this was a whimper necessarily to go out on, but it wasn't as strong as some, I suppose.
Dylan, my favorite flavor of Capri Sun is orange. Thanks for the question.
Thank you. Is there even an orange Capri Sun?
maybe it's an English thing.
Yeah, it could be. It's called Sunny D. Sunny Dylan Pollock. Jacob Alvarado, Dank Caves. Hello, Druther Jaime. I think, and Brother Broderick.
Hey.
I don't have any much thoughts on this episode or thoughts in general. Anyways, what do you think Red Claw has been up to this whole time? What do you think she wants to use the 5 billion pounds for? Do you think she can swim? Why am I just showing up at the end of BTAS 2 years into this podcast? Many questions left unanswered. This episode is not great, but it is great seeing Alfred be front and center again. Lastly, the lack of unicorns or lions in this episode is very misleading. That's all I got for today. Till next time, yop! Please scream yop. Thank you. I did. There was a lion head on the door or something, and they said the lion.
They're metaphorical. I would think, honestly, like what she was doing, I bet she was taking like a long boat ride from Gotham to London.
Once I get there, then I'll be able to shoot a rocket. Oh, it didn't work. Yeah.
There was a unicorn because that was in between Bruce Wayne's legs when he was in bed.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we didn't see under the covers. Yeah. This is from Jordan Newman, The Lion and the Unicorn.
You're listening to the Gotham Insider, bringing you hard-hitting news and investigative pieces from right out in the field.
This is different.
I'm Jack Ryder, reporting from London, where Red Claw has just made a terroristic threat against the city. Red Claw. Now, that's a name I've not heard in a long time. Love that movie. Sorry. Anyway, Batman apparently showed up and was able to thwart all the trouble. I'm not really sure why he was in London or what made him think to come here, but good on you, Batman. Is this what he was doing all the times I thought he was on vacation?
Going to London.
Now over to the music. I liked the main theme in this episode. I don't really remember it super well, but it was cool. And I'm also not sure if it was like Alfred's theme or the theme of London, or maybe it was Red Claw's theme, and I've just forgotten after all this time. I'm not sure, but it was cool. Never apologize for loving your fandom and try to stay optimistic.
He didn't talk about the musicless Batwing, but that's okay.
How could he? You can't talk about the music in a spot where there wasn't music.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You got to come up with a new for whatever show this is now that you're doing. Reporting from London.
So it's just like a different instrument, or there's like a different inflection on it, like do.
It's British now.
Jordan, you can just clip that.
It's GCN Gotham City News with Jack Ryder. That was way more Australian than Australian. Blimey, it's Jack Ryder. He says. This is from M.N. Drew. Pennyworth, Alfred Pennyworth. Oh, that reminded me of what Dylan said about the Pennyworth show. Yeah, Brian, there was an Alfred live-action TV show a couple of years ago that was just called Pennyworth, and then nobody watched it, and then they renamed it to like Pennyworth, the origin of Batman's butler or something like that, to see if more people would watch it, and like 2 more people watched it. Yeah.
Wow.
Someone's like, oh, that's who it is? They got me.
I'm sorry if this is a bad like spoiler for anybody, but I'm pretty sure it ends on like London being nuclear exploded.
Oh,
so I think that
Red Claw's plan?
I think Red Claw succeeded in the Pennyworth show.
Okay, we got to watch it now. I'm sold.
Okay.
Wow.
M. and Drew, what a way to go out on BTAS. White Claw's redneck baby brother Red Claw foolishly sets their sights on the most dangerous man in the universe. I dare say it's the most fun Al has had in decades. Better they had set their sights on someone easier, like Lobo. Oops, forget I said that Lobo does not exist yet. Onward to STAS and beyond. Yeah, thank you. Who do you think Lobo is, Brian? Just from the name alone.
A long hobo.
There you go. You got it. It kind of not incorrect. Anyway,
yeah,
I know. Charles Motosierra, The Lion, the Unicorn, and BTAS. Hello and good morning or afternoon or evening, Yoppish fellows. That applies to all of us here, I think. I believe we can safely regard The Lion and the Unicorn as a rather in-it episode, chaps. Indeed, mates. Okay, I'll stop that. Giving Alfred a cool origin story is obviously cool. Having said that, how the hell didn't Bruce blow up London while stopping that bomb? How the hell does that fight scene last 1 hour, and did Red Claw just die?
Yes.
Now to the more interesting subject. We say goodbye to BTAS today. I'm sure Brisket Man feels the way we all felt when we finished watching this show for the first time, with the added feelings of ending this chapter of Yoppie Dudes. Now, I don't know what his opinions are, especially since he's experienced this for a mostly comedic podcast. And this is just my opinion.
This is a very serious podcast. Thank you very much.
We do nothing but seriousness here. Believe this is, in its entirety, a timeless masterpiece. The Burton movie's tone allowed the creative team to go nuts, pun intended, with darker themes and with the psychology of the characters. The format with the world building also allows for great character studies of pretty much every single side character. Now, this is a TV show with 85 episodes. Some of those are bound to be bad ones, and a handful, 2 of them, are really bad. I think we know which 2. When the show has a good episode, that episode fucking rocks. The animation is obviously outdated, but I kind of like the artisanal quality that modern shows lack. And we have to consider that not too long before this, the standard for TV animation was Hanna-Barbera. DuckTales came out just 5 years before this. I can't compare it to the DCAU things that Barbie has yet to watch in the pod, but this is, in my opinion, BTAS is way better than The Batman Brave and the Bold and Spider-Man the Animated Series, a little bit better than X-Men the Animated Series. This is my favorite version of Batman and probably also my favorite superhero adaptation. My favorite episode's Heart of Ice, but On Leather Wings is still awesome. Correct. Now, I think it would be cool to compare all our top 10 lists to IMDb lists and complain about how stupid people are or not. Oh, so this is the IMDb top 10 Batman the Animated Series list.
Oh, okay.
Number 10, I'll go bottom. Feet of Clay Part 2. We have that. Man Who Killed Batman. Robin's Reckoning Part 1. Perchance to Dream. Beware of the / screw it, beware the great ghost. Two-Face Part 2. Oh,
what?
Don't know why that's on there. Yeah,
Number
Heart of Ice.
Part 1.
Two-Face Part 1. Trial and Almost Got Him. I respect all of those except Two-Face Part 2. I'm not sure why that's there, but yeah.
Yeah.
IMDb bottom 10 are from least bad to worst. Terror in the Sky. That was the She-Bat episode. The Forgotten, which we liked a decent amount.
I love that episode.
Lion and the Unicorn, which we just watched.
Oh, wow.
The Worry Men, which was Mad Hatter and those tiny puppet people you put under your pillow or whatever. Fire from Olympus, Maxie Zeus. Twiger.
What?
Moon of the Wolf. That's understandable. Terrible Trio, yes. Prophecy of Doom, yes. Underdwellers, yes. I've got Batman in my basement.
Yep.
So I have a confession for you both. We've reviewed The Underdwellers, and I've got Batman in my basement so far. And we enjoyed them both.
Now, some people like bad things. It's okay.
It's so bad it's good, kind of.
Right.
For us. But like my brother made a good point with The Underdwellers, just to at least lay down one defense for this episode.
Sure.
Is that we see Bruce Wayne like take in a child before he comes across Dick Grayson. He literally invites a child that is being like treated like a slave in the sewers and has no parents and literally comes from poverty. He doesn't come like Bruce Wayne's come from money, so he at least has that, and he has Alfred as a father figure there to like support him and give him like all of the advice he could possibly need as a kid to get him through into being an adult and a hero. These kids down the sewer don't. They've got this like abusive guy. So him taking this kid and like bringing him into Wayne Manor and like showing him his world, like giving someone with less fortune the chance to like at least you know have a fucking father figure in a bed and like some 3 square meals a day and like
the kid's name is Frog, for God's sake. I agree.
So I like that aspect.
I think we've kind of just come to understand that like the really bad episodes have good ideas and good intentions. Like every episode always is like put a lot of thought into, but a lot of the time they'll either get some random writer that has never written a cartoon or never written a Batman thing or whatever, or thinks this is the Adam West style of writing or something, or they'll get the worst animation studio, or just 1,000 different factors can combine at random on accident to make something that could have been a good, like the Sewer King episode, had it had the right team and the right studio and all this stuff, like you would think could potentially be like one of the best episodes or something, but it just wasn't. Like it was like, I understand what you're saying and I agree. I think it's just that becomes apparent with the bad ones, is like, I see what you were doing and you were trying to figure out how to run this show early on, and it just kind of tripped.
That's like down to when they didn't have Alan Burnett yet and all of that stuff, as you know.
Yeah.
And then I've got Batman in my basement. We just enjoyed the ride, I guess, and like
both of these we were laughing along the whole time of like, oh my god, yeah.
And we came up with I think his name is like, I can't remember his name now. Actually, the kid, it's like. That's actually a really good trivia question.
Oh, Sherbet?
Sherman. Yeah, Sherman. That's holy shit. We came up with a backstory. Well, not a backstory, a future story for Sherman where he becomes so obsessed with that day that he like literally grows up to be like a Norman Bates and like wants to keep Batman in his basement forever.
Oh my god!
He like breaks into the Batmobile and he's like, remember me?
Yeah,
and
he would
Batman's
know
like,
what to do if he came across it again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then like chains him up, and Batman goes down there, and his mum's like dead, and she's chained up like a dead body, and like just goes so dark with it. And Sherman's like, you're gonna stay here forever, and he's figured out that Batman is Bruce Wayne, or they're the same person. So he's like, if you do escape, I'll tell the whole world that you're Bruce Wayne, so you have to stay here.
Oh my
like,
god!
There's the door. You can leave anytime you want.
What's the movie that I'm thinking of with the
Misery?
Broken leg? Yeah, Misery. Thank you. Yeah,
I was going to be like, Saw?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's a really good segue into our final email from Scotty Cameron. Batman was unmasked by a woman. Hey, Yoppie dudes. We've reached the end of BTAS. We see the return of Red Claw. Aren't you happy? What do you know? She unmasks Batman in the cockpit of the Batwing in this episode. Who would have guessed the villain was able to physically unmask Batman is a woman? Since we reached the last episode, I thought I'd leave a voicemail emulating a horror movie franchise that starts with an S, asking Brian what his favorite episode is. Enjoy. I'm scared.
Hello, Brian. I know you were expecting Scotty Cameron to be on this line, but
I think this is Scotty Cameron.
Unfortunately, he can't answer the phone right now. I'm here, and I want to play a game.
Okay.
Now that you've reached the end of Batman the Animated Series, I want to know, what's your favorite episode?
Heart of Ice.
I was going to say.
On Leather Wings.
Yes.
Yeah!
Now, who was the villain in that episode?
Let me go back.
Yeah!
Good answer. Now, who was the villain in that episode?
Right now. Sewer King. Fuck, it's a Sewer King.
I'm sorry, but that was a wrong answer. Unfortunately, that means this is the end of Scotty Cameron.
Oh, no.
I am definitely not Dylan Pollock doing Ghostface.
I like the idea that you were in the Saw trap, but then it turned out that the real, like, end of the Saw movie, it was this the whole time, was that Scotty Cameron was in the Saw trap, and he trapped himself. Yeah. Hey, Alex isn't here, but we got some quote-unquote late mail, and I figured I should read it because BTAS is over, and when else am I going to do this? And it's, I got to do this thing.
We can't skip out on this.
I can't skip out on this. There's one's from Boss Biggest, so I guess I have to read it like Boss Biggest. I'm so sorry, listener. Hey, Yoppie dudes, I have completed Batman the Animated Series, or you have completed Batman the Animated Series. And what better way to end BTAS than with The Lion and the Unicorn, The Return of Red Claw. I met her once in Box Canyon, and she just wanted access to the uranium mines. You got that bat jerk what he deserved when Red Claw overpowered him in the cockpit of the Batwing and unmasked him. I guess she was right when she declared herself Batman's match, when she was the one able to remove his mask. Not even Sid the Squid or Sewer King achieved that feat, let alone Bane, Two-Face, the Penguin, the Riddler, or the Joker. I guess I'm not eating food enough, but that's okay. I bet that's why we never see her again. What do about a villain that unmasked Batman? Does she blackmail him? Does she even recognize that it was Bruce Wayne under his mask? I don't even want to know what some of the not PG plot lines were in the imaginations of the likes of Bruce Timm from that plot thread. Maybe I'm thinking about this too much. I do love Red Claw recruits henchmen with Cockney accents. I'm surprised Alfred didn't unload on them for not speaking proper English. Thanks, Boss Biggest. Scarloey 1, jump on the mechanic wagon, finale. Gotta do it. Gotta do it.
I'm going to miss this.
Hello, listener, and welcome to Jump on the Mechanic Wagon. I'm your host, Scarloey1. In this episode, I will tell you about Season 2, Episode 19, the final episode of Earl the Animated Series, The Mechanic, the Bat, and the wardrobe. Batman and Earl were standing in front of the Batmobile. Earl said, I present to you the newest upgrade to the Batmobile. Guns! He pressed a button on a remote, and mounted guns popped out of the Batmobile's hood. Why did you do this, Earl? You know I hate guns. I saw in a movie, replied Earl. This is the last straw, Earl. You're fired.
Oh, no.
You can't fire me. I can, and I did. The end. Earl, the animated series is over. But I will be back in like a year to cover the new Earl Adventures. Anyway, see you eventually. Same few time, same poo-poo channel.
Thank you, Scarlo. That's been quite the journey. Thank you so much.
You know what though? Like that reminded me of something from the show that we didn't touch on.
What?
Does Batman usually have missiles on the Bat-Wagon?
How you doing that? I mean, we had was it Batman in my basement where they're pressing all the buttons, the kids, and like a bunch of missiles and shit pop out, and they're like, oh no, that's the wrong one, or whatever.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
So he hates guns, but he loves missiles.
Yeah, he's fine. Except for in The Lion and the Unicorn, he really hates that one missile. It's going to blow up part of Big Ben's roof.
He's like, I'm gonna blow up missiles with a missile.
Yeah, there you go. Missiles locked on missile. There's an anti-missile missile. He's cool with that. It's like, this gun only shoots smaller guns. This is from Keen Machine. He says, this didn't make it into the recording, but I must note that Batman promised MI6 he'd capture Red Claw and definitely did not deliver. No statue in Trafalgar Square for him. Trafalgar, I said. Says, and yes, I do know the lyrics to God Save the King, Rule Britannia, and Zadok the Priest, the coronation song, none of which were present in this episode. Oh, you didn't ask? Never mind then. And then here's the voicemail.
Greetings, Sir James-a-Lot and Big Brother Brian of Britain. Congratulations on making it to the end of BTAS with the most appropriate way possible, a trip to the jolly old island. I do realize that this is atrocious, and I apologize to any actually British people who have to listen to this. But it's not going to stop me. Now, instead of talking about the episode itself, which is rather a dud if I do say so myself, I thought instead, in the same spirit, I'd tell you about the time that at a friend's birthday party, I convinced everyone that I was in fact a British foreign exchange student. Now, we never revealed the truth, the friend and I, after the fact, so to this day, all of those people must have believed that they met a British foreign exchange student. Or they played along and I wasn't actually that convincing. But I'm going to say that I was, and I carry that with me to this day, and honestly, I have no guilt about it at all, and rather, I'm quite proud of it. So, until next time, keep it keen, and I'll see you in Superman. Ta-ta!
Ta. Like the final note almost didn't make it in. Yeah, if anyone I think could pull that off, Keen, it'd be you. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Or Alex.
Yeah, well,
Alex is pretty convincing.
Dino Face Individual, Hench Reviews Direct.
Ooh.
Hey there, this is the HenchReviews.com founder and CEO, Brian James McPollock. We know that this is a rather strange way to cap off Batman the Animated Series as Hench Reviews, but we do have something special for our audience. So then, what will we be doing on this website to celebrate this momentous occasion? Well, I think it's high time that I announce an important next step in our company's development. Hench Reviews will be renamed acomnostromo.com. What are you... Harriet, come on. It took me like a week to think of that name. Maybe Earl the Animated Site? Hench Biggis? We need something, goddammit. I promised the investors a new name, right? I have to give them my firstborn to sacrifice to the listener. No new name? Fine. Maybe this will satisfy them. We at Hench Reviews would like to announce that we've made contact with aliens via an old laser disc box with a spork stuck through it. With this scientific discovery, new species can now become users on this site, and you can hear their reviews on their intergalactic warlord bosses.
It's amazing.
I'd give BTAS 5 out of 5 pancake director joke. Oh, I'm like, what the fuck does this say? Pancake der Joker eek vub.
What?
Comment animated by Acom, it says. There we go. There it explains it. Thank you so much. Yeah, you can be a different animal-faced individual for Superman, maybe. I don't know. Tip Tapricot. Contemplations on the Lion and the Unicorn. Could have said more than I say here, but truly just vibing so much and so appreciative to see the awesome show this has become and all the fun people pulled along for this wagon ride sent from my iPhone. And here it is.
Well, here we are, the final BTAS contemplations. I don't know if it's just because I'm really sappy about this being the final BTAS episode, but I really liked it, and I felt really comforted and nostalgic with the fact that it brought back literally the first villain of the very first episode, and then also was focusing on like Alfred and Bruce's relationship and like this kind of fun like globe-trotting thing. I don't know. I thought it was really fun. I don't think it's like the best episode, but it was really lovely to watch, especially as sort of a tie-up to this series. And I don't know. I think it's really cool that we're through our first show already. It's been 2 years, and we're all on this Bat-Wagon going forward, and it's about to become a super wagon, and that's pretty awesome. And yeah, I mean, I don't think I would want to be in Red Claw's soup room, but I'm really happy to be here with all of you guys. So, happy end of the series.
Soup was like one of the only things that didn't come up as an option, a possibility.
Oh, maybe not.
I think
but I like it. I like all the personal interpretations of what that what was falling out of those gargoyles.
It was so unknown. They add, wait, small other things forgive me, bat law overlords. To be read after my previous email, forgot to add these small comments of Bat-Wagon Easter eggs I've had in real life. One of the regular customers at work has a name that's almost Shirley Walker. She has a second last name I won't say. A firm in town is run by someone with the last name Pollock. Oh, we got to find that, I guess.
I actually know that one, yeah.
And I've met these guys named Brian and James, and they're almost exactly like Brian and James of the podcast, even down to the voices. It's kind of wild, actually. Sent from my bat phone.
There's other Brians and Jameses out there?
Yeah, I think we're supposed to kill them. We're supposed to go after them and hunt them down.
Deal.
Okay.
Yeah, sign me up.
Well, if I ever see someone that looks and sounds exactly like you in real life, I'll strike first before they can get to me.
You should start looking on Friday.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. This is from Fiacra Horgan. Thoughts on A Bullet for Lil Skeezy and The Lion and the Unicorn. Greetings and salutations, old man and dear boy.
Hello.
That works.
You're the old man.
Oh, man. Here we are, the last Yoppie episode of BTAS. Quick thoughts on A Bullet for Pollock. I think we need a spin-off show about the cockroaches that live in Bullock's apartment. In my headcanon, those roaches are subjected to hearing "get up on the Hydra's back" every time Bullock enters his apartment.
Without a doubt.
After last week's episode, I think it's time for a new segment, Pollock's Puns. It was a great podcast episode, one of my favorites so far. Now for The Lion and the Unicorn. How is Dick not freezing his namesake off in the Batcave during that opening scene? Put some socks on at least. We didn't really talk about his stupid little dance he does. And I thought about, God. I was wondering what your opinion on all of his little like trapeze tricks were. Cause like, much like the juggling, I have to assume that when they animate like guy does a flip, it isn't necessarily what it would look like correctly or something. I don't know.
You know, I don't know a whole lot of gymnasts or hand balancers for that matter.
Okay.
Some of it looked, as like with the limited stuff I've seen, looked pretty legit. Some of it was like Stephanie Millinger style.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know who she is, just look her up. Like that, like one-handed, slow, like single handstand from a dip thing he did. Like that's like that's probably superhuman. But other than that.
Well, because sometimes we have directors of episodes or storyboard guys or whatever that are like, I know all the martial arts, and so I know exactly how this would look. And then sometimes we don't have that. So I always wonder if those people are just like, hey, did a flip, make him rotate 180 degrees. It's a flip, I guess.
That's all. I'm always perplexed as to why people don't go with like, even back in the 90s, a little like Sony Handycam and just like, record a gymnast for an hour.
Those guys over at Disney, I hear they got real lions in the room when they were drawing The Lion King. Should we get like maybe a guy to do a somersault? No, I know what it looks like. Basing an episode on Alfred and his past is a good premise. I just don't think this one hit the mark for me. The highlight of the episode was the castle infiltration. It felt like Batman and Robin were at peak effectiveness. Also, why on earth does the Scottish castle have a room with lava gargoyles? Did Blofeld or Goldfinger once own the castle?
Yes.
Did MI6 tell the interior designer, we're going to need some gargoyles that spew out root beer. It's non-negotiable. Add it to the list.
Also, yes.
It's also a shame that the last episode of BTAS doesn't take place in Gotham, but on the foggy 240p looking streets of merry old London.
Emphasis on old.
Yeah. I've watched all of BTAS countless times, but I've watched Superman the whole way through only once before. It'll be fun rediscovering the show with you guys. Stay yappy.
You as well.
And then last, it's fitting, I suppose, that we end with an email from a new listener.
Oh.
Cassie, Dylan Pollock, but female. Hi, long-time listener, first-time Yop.
Hey, Cassie.
Discovered this podcast a while ago around Yopisode 80. I have been baffled by this take of how everyone in Gotham knows Batman has a Batcave. My take has been, even as an urban legend, even especially as an urban legend, people wouldn't be apt to say Batman has a Batcave. It's just good branding and parallel thinking is all. I believe the association of him being a bat that comes and goes to a cave probably isn't even a conscious association to actual caves, and may just be referring to the kinds of headquarters mob bosses have, or known supervillains who have lairs. It's a bit of a 4D chess move to have the Batcave be an actual cave while everyone is looking for a kitted out basement or something. Once the Batman in his basement. Once the first witness was brought to the Batcave, it's then that the Batman Cave Association was solidified. I'd like to imagine that said witness was probably like, oh, come on. It's an actual... Is that a goddamn T-Rex? Well, thank you, Cassie. It's glad to have you here. It's glad. It's glad. I'm glad. We're
Cassie,
glad. You're glad.
It's so glad.
It's so glad. Don't get mad. It's glad. Yeah. Okay. That's all the mail now. For real.
For real.
I mean, in terms of emails, we're gonna go back to. I start the older stuff at the comments on the YouTubes.
Whoa, are you okay there?
I died in the middle of that sentence and came back to life. Here we go, bye. Let's look at comments on the most recent final, whatever you want to call it, episode, which was a bullet for Bullock or a one bullet for Lil Skeezy, feat Dylan Pollock. Let's see. We got Zane Beatty. I have the bullet for Bullock comic, and I can confirm the dialogue is almost word for word. Okay.
Wow.
Scrudge. Wow, what an exciting finale for BTAS. Batman gets to save London from being nuked. Alfred turns out to be a secret badass, and Robin is also in the episode.
All true.
Batgirl fangirl. So in the DCAU, Alfred comes from an English straight out of Mary Poppins. Yep, and with all these cockneys around, I half expected that this was a musical episode. I think Batgirl Fangirl is also English, so this works out. It was a musical episode and that they were going to burst into song any minute. As a resident of the UK, yeah, okay, there we go. I can confirm that we do indeed walk around all day in smog wearing bowler hats, riding in a double-decker bus with the door on the wrong side. I didn't even notice that.
Oh, shit, neither did I.
We do indeed have castles with rockets inside and lava that pours down at the touch of a button. Oh, it was lava.
Lava.
It was coffee. I like how they just handed over the top secret documents that Batman can read upside down. They must have thought, I don't know who they are, but these guys look trustworthy. The ending in the Batwing reminded me of the start of Tomorrow Never Dies. I so wanted Batman to say backseat driver as he ejected Red Claw. There we go. Yeah. I haven't seen this one in a while. I was pleasantly surprised. I thought that Alfred didn't have a lot to do in this one, but he's actually in it quite a bit. Not my first choice for the final episode, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. I've thoroughly enjoyed this podcast series and look forward to it each week. And I'm looking forward to Superman. I've never seen it before, so I've gone out and bought it on Blu-ray, and I'm going to watch it in the airdate order. Yes!
Oh,
yes!
God. You know the character, right? So you make your own assumptions where you're like, oh, I know Superman, I don't want to watch it.
Yeah.
But then
Brian
you're
has
like,
said
oh,
multiple
this
times, like,
great.
Superman's so cheesy and boring, why would I watch him? Yeah.
Just you wait until you get to it, because it's a very different Superman than the ones that you might expect to see.
Awesome.
But James, I'm gonna break your heart, mate. I've never seen Justice League.
Oh my God.
I know. I'm gonna break.
Have you seen Justice League Unlimited?
No, I haven't seen either. I've seen some episodes.
God
but I have not watched them through. Yeah, I know. Like, I feel like I shouldn't do a podcast on the DCAU now.
Well, hey, if you're starting at the start like we did, then just keep going.
Well, yeah. When you guys get to Justice League in like 82 years, then I'll watch it then.
Yeah, it was funny to think of like, oh man, we've been doing this for 2 years. And we're just getting started, baby.
Yeah. Oh. What's the Zeta Project?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, we should know by now, right? Banana Man says, okay.
Banana
Man? It was Banana Man, yeah, he was here.
Banana Man said okay?
Yeah. He said okay.
Oh, okay. The world is good. Can you just reread it? Anyway, I just want to hear it again.
Banana Man says, okay.
Okay.
Alfred, what are you doing on the line? Stop. Get out of here. The Bee Who Buzzes. You've made it. The Lion and the Unicorn and Twiger and the Cat and the Claw and the Bat and the Bird and the Ventriloquist and the Joker and the Riddler and the Butler and the Hydra's Back is one of the most iconic finales to a series ever. The Russo brothers said this episode was the direct inspiration for Avengers Endgame. They just had to switch DC for Marvel characters. That moment when Joker was worthy of wielding Scarface gave me goosebumps. And Old Man Riddler, I couldn't believe it. Anyway, meet you in Metropolis. Yes, you will.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, I hope everyone's tagging along for Superman. Don't leave us. Ian Thompson. The Lion and the Unicorn is a waste of a cool Alfred backstory and a waste of Red Claw. I'm lukewarm on International Batman as a rule. It makes sense for him to travel and globetrot, but it always feels inessential or B-tier to me for some reason. 3 truth serum-induced recitations of secret code nursery rhymes out of 10. Okay.
So you're okay with Batman going to space, but if he goes to London, that's outrageous.
Yeah. I do not like this, yeah. Well, space is owned by America, so it makes sense. Banana Boy says okay.
Oh, whoa.
They're both here for the finale, yeah.
Oh,
Quincy 209.
Okay.
It's a family event. Quincy 209.
Where's Banana
Bullock?
Girl?
Banana Woman. Bullock is back, folks. It's time to get up on the Hydra's back to celebrate this epic event. So happy to see Dylan Pollock return to the hosting chair again, and I'm not just saying that because I'm Dylan Pollock. Don't be ridiculous. Anyways, don't forget to stay Yoppie, Burger King, and Jack in the Box. P.S. Damn, only 2 episodes left till S-Test. Time really does fly by, doesn't it? PPS, haha, PP. Also, happy anniversary. Jump on the Bat-Wagon. Yeah, thank you. I think we pass our 2-year anniversary, do 1 more episode, and then we're going to do like bonus episodes and whatever, and waste some more time, you know.
Yep.
Matthew Blaine, really enjoy the show as a child of the 90s. Thank you. Welcome to the thing. Keep listening.
Welcome.
Superman was also in the 90s, so you have to watch that. Lenola Cola, Dylan Pollock in the house. I just noticed something. Dylan and Joe are never in the same room together when they appear on the pod. Could Joe be a Dylan sock puppet account?
Definitely.
Probably, yeah. And Mark Aquino, last first. The Lion and the Unicorn. Well, here we are. This is it. The end of Batman the Animated Series. This collective rewatch of ours and first-time watch for Brother Bri ends as it began 2 years ago with Batman facing off with Red Claw. No fire hands, though, so 0 stars. Hey, was there a butler's strike called? How topical. Pay your writers and actors.
Yes.
The longer this goes on, the harder you make it for everyone, including yourselves. The only good AIs are the Steven Spielberg movie and basketball legend Allen Iverson. Oh, no.
Wow.
The concept of Brucey and Rick doing their crime fighting in old London town is interesting, and yet the episode doesn't really go into it that much. If I had a nickel for every time I saw Batman having to stop an explosive weapon, I'd have 4 nickels. Time out of joint. This, Batman 89. Oh, no, Batman the movie. Yeah, you just can't get rid of a bomb. And Dark Knight Rises. Missiles and bombs are basically the same, right? Seeing them get information from what I presume to be MI6 is interesting. Shall I entrust our top secret intel to this tall gentleman in a flying rodent costume and his spiky-haired young ward? I don't see why not. He somehow reminds me of one of our own agents, a martini-drinking, gadget-wielding, libido-driven, misogynist dinosaur who lives on the edge and doesn't work well with authority. We seem to just leave everything to him anyway. Yeah.
Hang on a minute.
Oh, I can't hear you. Sorry.
They're obviously talking about Ethan Hunt, so that's fine.
Yes. You'd think that with this being the final episode of BTAS, I'd have a lot to say, and yet I really don't. This episode itself was just fine, but nothing really special. Oh, well, I'll take an episode like this over the Underdwellers and Terrible Trio any day. Do you agree that Terrible Trio is terrible? I don't know.
I haven't seen it in a really long time, and even Alan Burnett hasn't seen it, and he fucking wrote the episode.
Boss biggest bear hugs to the #1 podcast host in this here multiverse of ours, Jammy Dodger, and bye-bye, Batsy, bon voyage, Dick. That's your name, I guess. Praise to our Lord and Savior, Dylan Pollock. Glad to hear you on the podcast last week. Remember to tell Gab that she rules. Likewise to his loyal disciples. I'll go ahead and list them for the final BTAS episode. Scarlo, A1, Batgirl, Fangirl, Scotty, Cameron, 1C209, Tip, Tapricot, Keen Machine, Jordan, Zane Beatty, Chris Knife, Lenola Cola, Carly, Juan Pedro, Ashley Touchin, Scrudge, the Banana Family, and of course all the awesome sauce listeners of this Yoppie community of ours. You're all the absolute best. Never ever forget that. I'm going to miss doing this collective BTAS rewatch with you all. However, I'm even more excited to start doing an STAS rewatch. This may sound like sacrilege, but I have more nostalgia and love overall for STAS than I do for BTAS. Okay.
All right.
I really do hope Brian likes it, as it has much more of an anime look and feel to it than BTAS does. Anyway, stay safe out there, everyone. Hope you're all having a nice summer. Till next time, smoke bomb. Thank you very much, everybody. That's the episode. Get the fuck out of here, Alex.
That's all right. No, I'll jump in my Batwing. There'll be about 50 shots of me doing it.
Yeah.
Brian will be in the back and hop out behind me.
But yeah, Alex, it's been absolutely great having you on. I hope we can reel you in again in the future.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. I've listened to you guys over the span of your however many years you've been doing this in literally like the course of like 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. Right?
Oh my God.
Just listening to someone see Batman for the first time is obviously the draw, but like just making fun of stuff and like picking out things, and James's fucking Ra's al Ghul's impressions always crack me up. But appreciate you guys having me on for the last episode. That's very nice because you know that's a big deal. I know it's not the last episode, but the last episode of the world you've been in, Gotham, for so long. But it's been really cool to see the podcast grow. Like even though I did it in such a condensed amount of time, you know, from like there's no theme tune to just we
don't know what the podcast is called.
Yeah. And then like you know, and having segments, and then you know, finding all of that, and like all of the listeners that write in. I was tempted a few times, but I was like, no, you are a silent
Well, thank you for like just dedicating so much time to it and being a part of this and being on here today. Like it's absolutely wonderful to meet you.
I appreciated that. Absolutely. You too. And I like, as I said, I don't mind dedicating that time because you're talking about a show I love. Obviously I do a podcast myself about it, but also it's entertaining because there are other podcasts out there that talk about other things that I love that are fucking boring, and you know, you're like, I'm out, like, bye. No.
What Brian and I like to do is just we say butt and pee pee and poo poo a lot, and then we just like scream, and then people go, oh, I like
it. And then actually, no, this makes sense now that you've seen all of Batman the Animated Series, and that's what we're doing. We can have you on to watch an old episode.
Absolutely.
Just Brian. Just get only Brian.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to do a shameless plug. So if anyone
wants
to hear more talk about Batman the Animated Series, if they haven't,
you check out the DCAU review and Timm also available on the Podtower YouTube.
Batman the Animated Series podcast. You can hear me and my brother just review episodes. We have great guests from the show, writers, producers, actors. It's been really great so far to have them all on there, and just really enjoy chatting with my brother about all this shit. So go check it out. Batman the Animated Series podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, at Batman TAS Pod on all of the socials, except for now I have to call it X, not Twitter.
X, I guess.
No, you don't.
And so on old Twitter, it's Batman TAS Pod.
Formerly known as Twitter.
It's Twitter, it's Batman TAS Pod 1 because some fucking cunt had to take Batman TAS Pod, and they've only got 2 followers, and they haven't posted in 2 years, and I'm like, I tweet this guy almost daily, being like, just delete it. Will you delete it? So
I gotta see if I know who this is. Let me look.
It's probably you.
This has been one of the more fun ones that we've done. So yeah,
I think it's way better than when we have Dylan on for sure.
It's way better than when I'm on.
Yeah.
Well, if Dylan's the owner of that fucking account, then yes.
Yeah, please go listen to Batman the Animated Series podcast. It's also very good and funny and good. And with that,
that's the tagline.
Yeah, it's including the word also, and they have to go, oh, compared to what? Well, thanks for being here. Leave.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. We're here at the end where Alex isn't here anymore. And the energy has just dropped completely, and we hate ourselves.
I more hate you.
Oh, yeah.
It was great before.
Yeah, I hate me too, so it works out. I wanted to talk to you about, and the listener about the upcoming stuff, so just everyone's on the same page with what's going to happen now that Batman's over, okay?
Yeah.
We're in the post-BTAS world as of this moment.
Oh.
It's very weird.
No, it's all going to be in the Batman world until I stop recording.
Yeah, oh, that's okay. That was the end of Jump on the Bat-Wagon Season 4, a.k.a. the year 1995. We will be jumping into the year 1996, a.k.a. Season 5 of Jump on the Bat-Wagon. We're always one number behind the year. It was 1992. Who cares or whatever. But that being said, we're going to do a couple of bonus episodes. People have been asking occasionally about Freakazoid, because we brought up Freakazoid numerous times of potentially incorporating that into it's not technically DCAU, but it's run by a lot of the same people, and it's Bruce Timm art style and all this stuff. I think what I would like to do is save that for a special bonus episode, maybe like a Christmas time, maybe something coming up like that. Because I was looking at the spreadsheet of all the episodes, as I have done, because I'm insane, and I had put Freakazoid among all of them, and BTAS, it started right before this final week of BTAS.
Oh,
in
really?
Real time, and then it went throughout the first 13 episodes of Superman, and then it's done. So it's basically just in this weird little in-between space kind of an area. But I don't want to we've taken long enough or we will be taking long enough to get to Superman. I think I just want to jump into it and not be and now we watch Freakazoid. So yeah, I think Brian, maybe when I'm next with you, we'll watch the first episode of Freakazoid just because I want to watch the first episode with you, and then be like, hey, on your own time before Christmas, watch the rest of it.
Oh,
it's only 26 episodes,
right?
So I think we can probably make that happen.
Yeah.
So, but our first actual bonus episode, right after the one you're listening to, dear listener, will be the Yopisode guide, where we will be going through every single episode of BTAS as named and synoped by Brian and I throughout all of these, reading them as if they are the official synopsis seizes. And I think that'll be a lot of fun. I have some drinking game ideas for that based on how many times you say specific things repeatedly that I've noticed as I'm typing them out.
No way.
We'll figure that out. Maybe we should do it with beer because we'll die otherwise, but we'll see what happens. And then another bonus episode that I had thought of was doing the bottom 7 wells, but not all of them because that's a lot. And so I picked 4. The idea I have for this is to do it as a commentary, so it'll be real time, all 4 of these episodes with Brian and I watching them and whatever we say as we're watching them. The episodes I'm nominating for this, if we do it, are Cat Scratch Fever, Prophecy of Doom, Be a Clown, and then end on the Underdwellers. Mostly because I don't care to watch the Terrible Trio again because it is so bad that it's not even funny bad. It's just annoying to watch. So
yes, I agree. And I think that sounds solid enough. It would be cool to revisit them.
Well, I picked those 4 because I feel like they are 4 that we laughed extremely hard at how terrible and bad some of the animation was, lines that people say or whatever, versus the other ones were bad because we hated them. So I've got Batman in my basement, almost made it, but I wanted to only do 4, so we could potentially do that one too. I don't know. We'll talk more about it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. It's kind of nebulous still, so I think when we record the Yopisode guide, dear listener, you will hear our official this is what's happening next decision. And then after we are done with those bonus episodes, we will kick off Season 5 of Jump on the Bat-Wagon with Superman the Animated Series, debut episodes, The Last Son of Krypton, Parts 1, through 3.
Oh God, I was hoping you were gonna say 2.
Then nope. 1, 2, 3.
Can I guess what they're about?
Yeah, you should tell me.
Superman's origin story!
Yeah.
I definitely clipped all that. I'm so sorry.
Even though you were so far back, yeah.
I'm loud, okay? I'm a loud boy.
And just for everyone's clarification, we will be continuing to do a top 10 list, a fresh one, a new one for Superman the Animated Series. But then we will add to the Yop 10. If we think a Superman episode was better than any of our top 10 Batman episodes, it'll add to that as the Yop 10, and that will continue throughout the rest of the podcast.
Sweet.
You see?
I see.
Yeah. I wanted to end this on if you had any final thoughts on Batman the Animated Series before we move on. We talked about it a little bit with Alex just now, but my main question was like, is it a good show? Would you recommend it to people? What do you think on that front? And I'm not going to be offended by whatever you say. I just want to know. Like now that you've seen all of it.
You're not going to be offended by anything I say.
Ever.
Your son is just so ugly.
Cute. It's adorable. That's not even true. That's objectively false. Oh, what Brian said is false. That's what I meant.
Your wife is going to be so offended in 6 years when she hears
6 years,
this.
yeah.
Okay, my thoughts on the totality of Batman.
Oh, sorry, I had soundtrack for this. Continue. It's Batman music. No, it's Batman music. Go. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that gets me in the mood. Just like Batman calling a certain late night phone line.
And he's listening to this piece of music right here.
That's weird, Kink, but whatever. God. Jamie, I am legitimately happy that we've done this.
Yeah.
And are continuing. This isn't the end, it's just the end of Batman. I think this was a great introduction, and man, we've just had some laughs along the way.
We sure have.
But the show itself.
Never any question.
So this was the end of Phantasm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, look
I'm
how
glad
good
you
I've
knew what
gotten.
it was. Yeah.
I mean, there's only one thing so terrible
in the whole
and that's
movie.
the terrible trio.
Such a good movie, and then the credits happen.
Yeah.
I like this show.
I think this show had a lot of growing pains, but I think it's an excellent show. I would recommend people who are into, people who like animation, like, hell yeah, watch this show. Realize that there's going to be some fucking awful episodes. There's going to be some things that are really terrible. You might have friends that are like, oh, watch On Leather Wings, it's great. And then you'd be like, wow, that was a waste of my time. But, it's just been a great time. And I think it is a good show. And I'd give it 2 thumbs up, one of which horribly mangled by an angle grinder.
You got still a slice through it.
Yeah,
it's been an interesting journey for me too through this, because, like, I think I've mentioned a few times, I really started getting into these shows with Batman Beyond and Justice League and like the early 2000s stuff, where I was like, I'm a little kid, I can make choices and do things, versus like. When this Batman Animated Series was on, I'm like pooping in my pants and stuff still, I'm a poopy butthole.
I mean, I have been this whole time.
That's true. Yeah, I'm doing it right now. But like, didn't get into this until later, and so going back and watching these when I got the DVDs and stuff, I'm still like a kid. I'm still like middle school age or something like that. I'm like, wow, Batman, all of it's great. It's all wonderful. Mm-hmm. And then I've kind of held, like, I've known there's some clunkers, some dumb clucks, but I'd held that standard or whatever, like Batman the Animated Series so great for forever. And then doing the podcast, it's very eye-opening to see and learn all the trivia and talk with Dan Reba and all that kind of stuff of like, oh, there were actually a lot of problems going on, and there was a lot of like uncontrollable negativity that caused some of these episodes to be what they are. But yeah, I'm glad that you are coming away with it from it as like yes, this is a good show, I would recommend this or whatever, because I think that the good outshines the bad, and even most of the time the bad is still like funny bads.
Yeah.
So,
so there's going to be, I'd say a good like 2/3 of the episodes are going to be like good or pretty good, and there's going to be like a sixth of them that are so awful, or like 2 episodes that are so awful that you're not going to want to watch them, and the rest of them you can laugh at. So like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, I've had a lot of fun showing you the show, and I'm looking very much forward to getting past it finally and getting into the stuff that I consider to be like the good stuff, like it'll just get better and better, I think, and it'll there's some really exciting, like Batman overall, good show. The song's over now.
Good.
But there's nothing really in Batman that has ever stuck with me as like, holy shit, like I can't wait till like I think Mask of the Phantasm was the only thing that I had as like, I can't wait for Brian to see this. He's gonna love this.
Yeah.
And so, we had to get through 85, 86 if you count the video game episodes, where it was like, yeah, there's some really good stuff, but it's still just like, it happened. And now that we've moved past that and we're in Superman, we'll get to all the other shows, and nothing is as long as Batman either. So it'll be like, if you're really not digging this, at least it'll be over 2/3 faster than Batman, whatever.
It's like Oregon weather. If you don't like it, just wait 5 minutes.
Exactly. That's what they say. But yeah, good stuff. Thank you everyone for listening through all of this really long podcast episode, and hopefully you stick around for past Batman the Animated Series, and we'll see you in the comments and all that good stuff.
Yes.
But if you want to hear more discussion about this episode, The Lion and the Unicorn, you can check out the DCAU Review and Tim Talk podcast. It's also available on the Podtower YouTube channel, just like this podcast. I would recommend the other one that Alex is on, but you haven't gotten to this episode yet, so fuck it, whatever. Thank you to Kimmy, who was here watching the episode with us, and I think had an okay, just fine time. Cooney Phoenix, Viltsu, and of course Brother Broderick for all our musical themes. That's you.
That's me.
Please subscribe to the Watchtower Database YouTube channel for DC Animated Universe videos on a regular basis, and subscribe to the Podtower for all new DCAU podcasts every single week.
Because why not?
Why not? We're going to record some bonus stuff and Superman and whatever. I get to trade out the Blu-rays with you this weekend. That'll be weird.
You can't.
Give me my Batman back. Get to put it on the bookshelf.
I
have to make room for it because the Superman one is much thinner. I did not figure this out ahead of time. Please leave us a like on today's episode on YouTube to spread us around the interwebs. And please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or whatever the hell you're listening to this on. You'll damn well hear your review read on the show. I've changed it too.
Nice.
New episodes of the podcast are released every Friday on the Podtower, as well as your favorite podcast feed and watchtowerdatabase.com. And we'll see you on the other side.
You got to play out that song, or at least a good portion of it, for the end of our last episode.
That one? I can do that. I can
No.
I never even
There it is. Bringing it full circle.
Thanks for being here, Dylan Pollock.
Thank you, listener. It's been great.
Yes, it sure has. Now we leave.
Okay, let's leave.
We're never coming back.
Until we do.
Oh, yeah. Okay, bye.
Bye.
I don't suppose you'd consider coming out of retirement?
And taking up civil service pay grades again? Hardly, old man. I've become accustomed to my style of living.
It's a great pity. It was just like old times.
Give my best to Whitehall.